be an indie means we buck a system that doesn't want us. To be a fringe filmmaker means we don't do it for them. We do it for ourselves. To be an outlaw on the fringe means we'll die before we fail. Be an outlaw.
Maybe I should add this to the screen also.
Might be a good idea.
You think? It's that whole cabin fever thing that's screwing with me, man. How are you?
I think the worst part would be if you actually thought that we were on screen. Then I would start worrying about the cabin fever.
We are live.
How are you doing, pal?
I am great. How are you doing?
I'm good. You know, a lot of people don't realize we talk a lot throughout the week, but we don't see each other except for this. We do most of our talking via text or messaging or phone calls. So it's nice to do this weekly check-in with you, Joe, and see your face and see that you're doing it. You've been working at home now 5 weeks, yeah?
Approximately, yeah. And
all work and no play makes Joe
a dull boy, yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Behind me too. That's funny.
So it's good though. Work's good. Life is good. Everything's beautiful. You're stuck at home, but that's not necessarily a terrible thing. So I mean,
stuck at home, healthy. I feel the quarantine pounds coming on though.
Oh well, you know what can fix that is keto. You can use cauliflower instead of food.
Now, wait a minute. Is it collie or cully?
It's cauliflower. Everybody knows it's cauliflower.
I have somebody here that would disagree with you, but
hey, that's my beautiful wife, Rebecca.
It is.
She tunes in every week. Like she doesn't get enough of my bullshit like around the house during the week, right? And yet she still tunes in and supports the Brigade, and I love her dearly. So it's hot as fucking here. There we go.
I was having the same issue.
Yeah, that's not picking up, is it?
No.
Okay.
Anyway,
how's everybody doing tonight? Welcome to another episode of Romero Pictures Heavy Metal Indie Brigade with me, your host, George C. Romero, and my ever-present and faithful producer extraordinaire, Mr. Joe Ridgely. My mouse, where's my mouse? Going to the comments here. We got a lot of people here already saying hello once again. God, man, this is awesome. I love our community of people. You know, it really is a beautiful thing. So many people here have become true good friends. They've begun collaborating. They work together. They hang together. What's up, Gunny? Good to see you. Good to see you. Coming soon, dear Gunny. That's going to be fun.
keto is awesome. Sean, I didn't know you spoke Spanish.
What? You're ahead of me for once.
Oh, touche.
Oh, give me 3 seconds. I'll catch up and get in front of you. Everybody tune in. Adam Lewis. There is an end of the night tonight. We had a technical issue with the graphic. There is a phenomenal episode at End of the Night coming up later this evening with your host, David Madison. That's going to be a great episode, so make sure you stick around.
Yeah, I got that here. There you
go. Mr. David Eddings, we just met him back in the green room. Very nice, very sweet guy, and I think that'll be a really good episode. So make sure you stick around. We are here 9 p.m. to midnight every Friday. We aren't going anywhere. And if we do go somewhere, you get plenty of warning. Let's see.
Scott Williamson, Brett Michaels here. I need to lose about 10 pounds. Nice.
Oh, Gunny, you beat me to it. What is up, you fucking outlaws? Libby, happy to see you. Dang it, little teapot. Where's the video?
I don't know where.
Isn't that supposed to happen tonight?
I don't even know where the hell it started from.
Live. You can just do it live. Dean says new camera. Oh, no, Dean, actually same camera. Everything just seemed to kind of start working differently. I did a Zoom thing last night. I don't know if maybe it's an update on the computer or what the hell the deal is, but Everything kind of looks a little better. So I'm happy about that. It allows me to have a little bit more of a dramatic lighting and fall off, which actually I think is really going to be nice for tonight, because tonight is a good time. If y'all were here a couple of weeks ago when Michael Mandaville was on, we discussed pitching. And we discussed that the best way to practice your pitch is not in front of a mirror, and certainly not inside an echo chamber. What that means is, just because you get your pitch down in your head doesn't mean that it's going to come out that way when you're in an intimidating room. So tonight, Michael Mandaville has agreed to join us here on the Indie Brigade, along with at least one, maybe two other little surprise guests. Certainly not just absolute dear friends. And we're going to give people who click a link that Joe will make available the chance to come on screen and pitch us. Now, I want to get a couple of ground rules straight here, because I realize some people may be nervous about pitching their ideas that might not be made or anything like that. So first off, I want to just say, don't worry about it. Just the very act of you pitching a concept on camera with a time date stamp of tonight's episode, you're actually solidifying your IP even further, and you're solidifying with a record that is stored on YouTube that it was your idea as of today. So don't sweat it. And beyond that, if you are uncomfortable pitching your own stuff, well, A, you're going to have to get past that if you expect to pitch it in the real world. And B, we'll go ahead and give you something to pitch us. And that will be fun.
Let's welcome Jennifer to the Brigade.
Hey, what's up, Jennifer? New here. Heard about this from Creative Mixer last night. Yeah, I did this really cool Creative Mixer on Zoom last night. It was a lot of fun. Hosted by Rob Alicia, a dear friend of mine. And he had a great audience, super engaged, and it was a lot of fun. People seem to dig it. So I'm hoping that I was hoping we were going to get some folks from that here tonight. And it looks like we have at least Jennifer. So I think we might get a couple of more throughout the evening as well. Lance says, what did I miss? The answer to that, Lance, is the same as always, everything.
I thought we were supposed to block this feed from his... Yeah. So I'm trying something new tonight, and I don't know if it's working or not. I'm sorry?
What?
Wow.
Welcome to the Indie Brigade. It's a tough room.
Well, I went to go stream to another platform also, and I'm not sure if it's actually doing it.
What platform?
I thought it was supposed to be going to Twitter, but it's via some other... Via
Periscope?
Yeah. So does that go directly to our page or no?
I don't know. It's supposed to, but I don't know if you set it up there properly.
I did set it up there.
You know what? If it's not working, we all know what to do. We all need to just sip a lovely cup of coffee and fucking blame Joe.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't know this guy was going to be here tonight. Otherwise, I would have worn a hat.
Look at that. Oh, blame Joe. Blame Joe. We have these coffee mugs available. If you, like me, are interested in spreading a message larger than the Indie Brigade itself, which is the Blame Joe message, feel free to go to romeropictures.com/merch and get you a Blame Joe coffee mug. Literally anything that goes wrong in your day, if you fuck up at work, if you fuck up in your relationship, anything that goes wrong, just fucking blame Joe, because it's his fault. And you know what? He's got big shoulders. And that's kind of what we're here to do. We're here to, help everybody figure out how to get ahead in this business, help everybody figure out how to keep their creative spirit healthy, and also blame Joe for all the shit that goes wrong in our lives. So
wait a minute. I'm curious. Samantha, is there a reason you're asking?
Samantha, we all know the answer to that.
I mean, really, come on. How long have you guys known me?
Amy will #blame Joe. Gunny loves it. Don, what's up? Happy you're here. You're right, Scott. It's always his fucking fault. So help me spread this message. But
yeah, even
help me spread the message. What's up, Ken? Oh, exactly. See, Ken gets it.
Ken's supposed to be on my side. Damn it.
He is. I'm on your side, but I still blame you for everything because fuck you, Joe.
We will not be doing any pineapple whip pitches today. Or George, no talking pies either.
Oh no, absolutely. Yeah. We use the apple pie for a reason.
Twitter is working, Joe. Thank you. That is good to know. Oh, that's great to know. I appreciate that.
Hey, that's really cool. So yeah, so we use the talking apple pies for a reason here at Romero Pictures Indie Brigade. And nobody really needs to know that reason. Frank, what's up? How's it going, brother? I'm so happy you're here watching tonight, man. And yes, I am going to get you that email this weekend. So boom, I'm really happy you're here. Frank DiMaggio, dear friend, great guy. He has some amazing stuff happening and going on. He's a straight shooter, man. He's a good dude. He's one of the good guys. So thank you for being here tonight, brother. Let's see. I think I'm going to watch from here. Somebody is watching on.
Yes, that's Amy. That's her husband's Reaper's Rejects company. They do.
That's right. That's hashtag Amy Danger. Yeah, Lance with the fucking pineapples. Jesus.
There's much better fetishes to have, Lance.
David just blamed the guy at the ice cream store for not having the sprinkles he wanted. See, David gets it. He's on board. Gunny has a pitch about a sexy little teapot.
Gunny,
I don't know where the teapot thing came from, Joe, but it's kind of
no idea. Wow.
Everybody, welcome to another Friday night with us. As you can all tell, for those new here, we don't take a whole lot of shit seriously, except for the shit that it pays to take seriously. What that means is, we work hard, but we play hard, and we're here to nurture and help kind of fuel the creative spirit that we all have. We're all here because we all have it. We're all here because we've got a love for what it is we do, and we're all here because we try to push out this creative, whatever it is, if it's writing, if it's poetry, if it's songwriting, if it's filmmaking, if it's whatever it is it's content. And there's all kinds of different content. There's all kinds of different ways to push it out into the world now. And there is, however, one constant among all of it. And that constant is creativity, passion for what we do, the need to get it out of our bodies and our minds and our everything, just to get it out there in the world. And that's something that is very hard to kind of do. It's kind of hard to walk through this world with this kind of curse of creativity and not have a lot of support. And one of the things I spoke about last night on that creative mixer was that was the sense of community. It was one of the first things that Rob brought up, was that what he's trying to do with his creative mixer is to create a sense of community. And that's what we've done here at the Indie Brigade. And while our numbers are continuing to grow and we're finding and meeting new creatives every week, what we have done, and I thank the entire community, I thank every member of the brigade for this, is we've formed a very, very badass community of people who love each other, support each other, and want to see each other succeed without that sort of like evil bullshit of what do I get out of it, right? We don't do this because we get paid to do it. None of us do here at the Indie Brigade. We do this because we have a love for it. We do this because we have a love for spreading this stuff to the world. We do this because we have a love for helping people push their inner creative to find its footing. And I personally believe that the world is going to need more of us because especially with 2020 being the fucking shit show that it is, there's going to be people to recount the history of these times, but it's going to be the artists and the creatives who tell the tale. It's going to be the creatives who tell the story of the people. It's going to be the creatives that tell the story to tell the love stories, to tell the horror stories, to tell the action films, to tell the tales of social distancing and the dramas about businesses. It's those all will come from people like us. And that's what this community is about. It's about pushing each other and helping each other and really kind of helping everybody realize that if it's in there, it's got to get out, and you've got to just dig down deep and find whatever it takes to put that out there. So welcome to the Indie Brigade if you're new. Welcome back if you're not. We're all fucking outlaws here because films used to be dangerous, and there's some amazingly cool shit going on.
You recognize that last name?
Hey, look at that.
That's my niece from Long Island. Hey, Caitlin.
Oh, man. Caitlin, we are trying. When we get YouTube to 1,050 views, Joe said he'd let me come down there and shave his head.
We got Frank Farrell in the house. To add upon
Frank, what's up? Frank Farrell, how you doing?
To add on what you just said, if I may, and I wasn't completely paying attention because I was going over some of the comments here. It is very important for everybody to work together and not against each other, please. There's no sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the entire point. This business was built on collaboration. It was built on a true spirit of collaboration. It was built by creatives who got together and shared ideas and made those ideas strong. And then it was built by business folks who invested in those creatives to create stuff. And there was sort of a symbiotic relationship for a long time ago. As the internet has grown and as all of this stuff has kind of blown up and exploded, there's become this sort of like weird every man for himself kind of thing. And, you know, even in the Wild West, that shit didn't work, right? Like even in the Wild West, there were pockets of people who helped and gunslingers, but even gunslingers ran in packs, right? And, you know, it's not the kind of world where you can just go be every man for him fucking self. It's just not. Too many people out there are trying to help with their own goals in mind. They try to, and I had a conversation about this. A lot of people will try to get into your bubble. This is a tricky one, but bear with me here because we create a bubble around our creative. We create a bubble around our inner creative and our spirit. And our job is to protect that bubble and protect our work and protect what we're trying to do. But we cannot do it without letting people into that bubble as well. The problem comes when too many people or the wrong type of people try to get into your bubble, and their entire purpose and only purpose is to create chaos inside that bubble. What we need to do, and one of the things that our inner creative will never let us down about, is that little voice, that feeling in your gut, you know. And it's okay. Not everybody you meet is going to be somebody who's going to be able to help you. Not everybody you meet is going to be somebody you vibe with, and not everybody you meet is going to be somebody you're going to be able to help either. A lot of times creatives have a feeling, you know, it comes from underselling ourselves when we're starting out and coming up. We get this feeling that we've got to, you know, anytime somebody comes along and has a resource that we feel we need for our own creative, we feel that we have to jump on board with that. That is not the case. Most times, your inner voice, your inner creative, will not steer you wrong. If you have just even a second, hey, look at that, boom.
Hey, George, Romero.
You got a Booker pop.
Hey, man.
Where the fuck did you get that? And where's mine?
No, I got a friend of mine had it made for me. Denny Ann, friend of Michelle and I. Yeah, cool, isn't it?
That's really cool. What's up, brother?
What's man? How you doing?
Good. So I was just kind of talking about, you know, this whole thing that you and I talk about a lot. Like, and we actually just talked about this a little bit today. Just because you meet somebody as a creative, just because you meet somebody who might have a resource you need or might have something, you know, it doesn't mean that everybody that you meet as a creative is necessarily somebody you're going to vibe with, somebody who's going to vibe with you, or somebody that you should necessarily feel you have to work with. But that doesn't mean you can't support each other still, right? Like, just because something might not work Doesn't mean you can't still be friends. Doesn't mean you can't still support each other and push each other toward each individual goals. But there's so many people that will try to get into your bubble with the sole purpose of doing nothing but creating chaos, right? So they try to get into your world just to fuck it up. And that's a fatal thing that happens to a lot of creatives, you know. I'm curious what you think about that now that you're here.
Yeah, I mean, it happens a lot. I mean, unfortunately, this business gets so damn sensitive, you know, and it's not personal, it's business. There's people you don't get along with as far as like creatively. I mean, we all have creative differences. I mean, but a lot of it that with creative differences comes out a product that's better than it would have been if it wasn't a difference between the two parties or three parties or four parties making something better than it was. I mean, if everyone has a singular purpose of making something great, a lot of times the collaborative effort will work. You know, it's when you have that one idiot that thinks his idea is the end all, and that's the one you give the boot right up the fucking ass.
Yes, sir. God, I love you.
Sorry, Joe.
I'm happy you're here tonight, man.
Well, see, this is the whole thing.
My hair is getting pretty bad too. So my hair is getting like, I mean, so we could do the Joe and Richard hair.
Oh, this is fucking awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Well, see, when you come on, I don't usually not have a hat on, so I wasn't expecting you to be on. So
That's
I'm kind
why I
of
wear a hat, because it looks like this.
So yes, Dean, there you go. It's a hair competition.
It's a hair competition.
Richard won.
I believe we have somebody else down in the lobby as well. Richard, I don't know if you've met GMT yet.
No, I don't think so.
You ready, GMT? Give me a thumbs up.
Hey, brother.
How are you?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. I was just. It's Friday, so I poured myself a drink, and I said, take your time, put me on whenever, and then I'm ready.
Oh, nice. Well, Herman, I'm not sure if you've met Greco yet. Richard
I
Greco.
have not. A pleasure meeting you, sir. Pleasure.
Boom. This is great. I don't know if Michael's here yet. Michael usually doesn't show up just for a few more minutes, but is he here? Awesome.
Michael, you ready? Give me a thumbs up. Boom.
There we are.
Mr. Michael Mandaville.
How you doing? Good to see you, Cameron, Richard, Herman,
How are you, man?
and Joe.
Oh, you mispronounced that, Michael. And fuck you, Joe.
Wow, can you feel the love?
Joe, it's his fault, Ridgely. What can I say, right?
This is what I, just before I do that, I am going to add the link on. Or actually, you guys ready for me to add a link on? You want to hold off for a few?
No, add a link, and just anybody who clicks it, just know you may be in the green room for a couple of minutes, because we're all going to rap for a minute or two about how this is going to go, and we're going to kind of figure it out as we go. But just know that this is your panel that you will be pitching to. There's me, there's Mr. Richard Greco, there's Mr. Herman Michael Torres, and Mr. Michael Mandaville. You will be on screen with us. You will be pitching. If you don't want to pitch your own stuff, we will give you elements, and we're going to fuck around with that a little bit too, because I think it's going to be fun. And just to kind of give you guys an example. And but again, I don't think you have to worry, because even if you do pitch your concept here, like I said, there's a time date record. It'll be stored on YouTube. If anybody were to, watch this and then say, oh my God, I got to take that guy's pitch and steal it and try to fuck his life over, then there will be a record that it is your pitch. So I don't think y'all have to worry too much about that.
Unbelievable.
From people finding this. We're just here. The entire point of this is to help the brigade get better at pitching. I've noticed over time, over the several seasons, that we get a lot of questions about pitching. We get a lot of questions about how to pitch, the right way to pitch, what to do, how to know if you're fucking up, how to know if you're doing good, all of those things. So we figured tonight would be a really fun time to just kind of all get together casually and talk about pitching and help people get better at pitching.
Yeah.
So, let's start with Herman. Herman, what is it that you look for in a pitch when somebody pitches you?
Well, it's two things or two categories. One is how well they know their pitch, like if they know the DNA and they're passionate about it, and I know they're coming from a place where only they are the ones that could do this movie or TV show. That's the authenticity. Not to sound cheesy, but it's really important to me to feel like I'm with the right guy pitching the right content, right?
Right.
The other things are a little more housekeeping, depending on who I'm working with or what I'm looking for, who my buyers or what my buyers want. And that's a little bit more clinical, where I'm just looking for, is it a female thriller? Is it, whatever the buyers told me that week, and somebody pitches something that kind of fits within that category, then I'm like, oh, I'm more interested. But either way, they may say something that's exactly what a buyer that I talked to earlier that day or that I'm looking for or I'm passionate about. But if they're not, it really is important. Like a lot of times they feel like they're just running through the pitch.
Yeah.
Almost like it's good to memorize and know, but I want you to know it. I want you to kind of make me feel like you are a part of this story and it comes from a place that is you. That's why I always suggest to start off with something personal. Like last year I went to this, amusement park, and this one thing happened to me, and I thought, why is it this, we have to go through X, Y, and Z? So I created this idea called blah, blah, blah. And it captures that essence of what I experienced that day on Saturday. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I'm intrigued. I'm listening to what they're saying.
Right.
So, authenticity and kind of, knowing your material.
Awesome. So now, Greco, when now somebody pitches you, and you and I have talked about this because you've gotten a few pitches in this past week. What is it you look for if somebody pitches you that makes you actually just not hang up on them? I know you.
Well,
Wow.
From that, do you have a budget, and do you already have money? And what is your budget, or are you still looking for money and putting names on the project for your investors? You know what I mean? That happens a lot. If I'm passionate about a project, I don't mind doing that. But when they come and they have nothing, if they have something, one thing, first of all, if the script is good and it has something I like in it that I feel I can work with, that's the most important thing. The next thing is who the director is and the DP. Who are you looking at for other cast members? Where are you shooting? Or if there's somebody that hasn't directed before, I'll say, look, I like it. Let me direct it. You know what I mean? But the bottom line is, then it comes down to, okay, where are you now? What is your budget? And if they say, well, we're looking at, we're talking smaller now, like a 350, 400,000. I go, well, what do you have now? And if they say nothing, I go, well, good luck and give me a call when you have some money. But
all right, awesome.
And
I think, go ahead.
Huh? Michael, somebody pitches you. What makes you determine that it's worth your time?
Well, for one thing, I think the first thing that comes up is, can I work with this person? Because I want to have a certain degree of intelligence I'm looking for there, salesmanship, the ability to be conversant in their pitch. Are they fluent in it? Which is what Herman was also saying. I like people that, when they have materials, you can see if they created a universe. That whatever I'm not necessarily saying sci-fi, but the world in which they have conceptualized their show, they should be able to talk about it with some fluidity. And I like to kind of poke them a little and go, well, what if the character did this and not that? And the reason is, you might just say, well, look, we're going to blow up a bridge in this movie, and it's $8 million. You want to shoot in Romania, and well, it can't be a bridge, but it could be a building. And are you flexible? This is just so. Then a final part, which I think was echoed by Richard there, is indeed what's the practical elements? What's their knowledge base of the industry? Some people get in and say, I'm going to make a $5 million movie or a $10 million movie or 20, and they want $1 million for their script. And this is just not even plausible. The odds are so against it that when I tell people, well, in a $10 million movie, you probably get $100,000 for your script, 150, maybe 200, 250, but it's not $500,000. So some is degree of how acquainted they are with the industry, because you're going to go down that road, and if you're just going to be the bumper on the bumper pool game here when you're trying to make something happen, it's just not going to be pleasant. It's just not worth the time. So I do think one thing is when you hear somebody's unique value proposition, whatever, which is their pitch, I like the idea of idea origination. How did this come about? What just gave you that spark? And that spark is really the part I find very intriguing, where people can even take different pieces and go, oh, I hadn't looked at it that way. That's interesting. Oh, that's familiar yet unique, as the saying in the film industry goes. We've all heard that. I want something absolutely unique, but it has to be the same. And, because distributors like both these other gentlemen echoed are practical people.
Right.
So
that's that old story about the Die Hard pitch.
And I think just a quick note, just hearing both of you speak right now, it just made me think about, I know it's difficult to try to find out information about who you're pitching, but it's really important, just hearing all our focuses on what we're looking for, to try to figure out who you're pitching and why you're going to them, right? If you're going to somebody because you think in your mind they add a specific value, then I would hope that your pitch, lends itself to that person in a way that it's organic. Like I don't pitch one way to everybody, depending on who that person is. And I know it's difficult to figure out what I'm looking for, who I spoke to, but at least you got to at least know what I've done in the past and what my skill sets are, like what you want me, you should understand what you want me to do for you, as opposed to, here's a wonderful idea and take it.
Yeah.
And do everything and then let me know when I can show up at the wrap party or something. You know what I mean? Like, no.
Yeah. And that's a good point you bring up too, because, I will say this, sometimes one of the things that I'll do is if I'm in a room and I've walked into rooms where I was dialed in, like I had all the research on everybody that was going to be in the room. I knew everything there was to know. And I walked in the room and something was just off. And, and I particularly, one particular story that comes to my mind is that I pitched something 180 degrees from anything I thought anybody in that room wanted.
Yep.
And it worked.
Yeah. I always say that it's the last idea when you're walking down the hallway and you're like, I got this weird, kangaroo movie. Oh, really?
Yeah.
And that's the one that they buy from me.
So we've got some questions.
I know somebody with 2 kangaroo movies too. I swear, 2 different people.
I know somebody with a talking pie movie.
There we are.
Oh, the talking pie's coming in. So we're flying the talking pie in here in a few minutes. We got a few questions. A lot of people think they have the next best idea. How many actually become a consideration for production? My answer to that is, a lot more now than it used to be, because there's so many possible outlets. If there's so many different ways to get your stuff greenlit by a production company, there are so many different producers, so many different people out there. I mean, you've got 4 of us on the screen. When it comes to films, when it comes to series, we all look for different things, and we all have our own networks of people. And all of us would listen to your pitch and say, look, it might not be right for me, but call this guy over here.
Yeah.
let's see what else. There was a couple more.
And by the way, we just a note, we hear tons of pitches all year, and there's going to be similar pitches. It's not a bad thing. It's basically what your voice is or what your specific version of that shark movie is. Because, everyone, the question is, the beginning of the question is true. Everyone thinks they have whatever it is. Like, I've got this cool thing, and just don't tell me how this should be made and how much money it's going to make. And
right.
And that's not your,
Right. And, that goes back to the, I mentioned it before.
Like, I need to make this movie, really?
Yeah. Like the Die Hard pitch, right? The old story about Die Hard. I think we all remember this. After Die Hard came out, every pitch around Hollywood was, well, it's Die Hard in a boat.
In a booth.
It's Die Hard in a bus. It's Die Hard on a plane. It's Die Hard, and then all of a sudden one day, about 15 years later, you hear, well, it's Die Hard in a skyscraper. And that's when pretty much the Die Hard pitch died, because it had come full circle. Is Rico having connection issues? Damn it. All right. Well, let's hit some more questions real quick. Ken, you've got another good. Oh, Gunny, you got a good question. Is there a way to protect your pitch and idea so it can't be stolen? And I think that this is an interesting one, because everybody's worried about this. And it's like GMT was just saying, Michael, you've spoken on this too. There used to be a saying that, like, if your idea was good enough, they're not going to, and they like you, they're not going to steal it from you. Because it's more trouble than it's worth to steal your idea than to just make it with you. That doesn't really hold as true today, but on the other hand, there is no protecting. Like, at the end of the day, if you try to make people sign a non-disclosure to read your script, odds are those people aren't going to read your script. Yeah. They're just going to be like, nah, I got 10 other people with scripts that aren't asking me to sign a document.
I don't, I know that happens, so I'm not going to ignore it or not be considerate about someone's fear that may happen. But it's not, most people are not looking to steal stuff. And by the way, just getting into situations, I want them to sign a release if they're going to pitch me something that I don't know who they are. I want them to sign something.
Right.
Because we get a bunch of pitches with elements that are similar, and that's not copyrightable. Is that a word? Copyrightable? It's not. And so, you can't copyright a title. You can't, there's all this expression of something. There's all these legalities, including the WGA, in terms of what they expect from arbitration and all that stuff. I just think that, if it's your voice and that's why I tell people, write as much as you can. Write the screenplay. Put up a blog. Like, have enough content as opposed to a pitch, only. So that you can own the material and it's you and it's your fingerprints all over it. And then don't worry about it. Because for me, when someone asks me that I don't know for an NDA, I'm just like, just go somewhere else.
I think also it's, in essence, you have to render in tangible form, whatever that is, and you actually put in your own copyright. And and the benefit of that, if you have a good project, I have something called the Hi Guys, but what I have is a script, which kind of led me to a comic book, which I've got comics on, which I've got animations I'm doing. So it's kind of this interesting little ecosystem that I'm working on. But it'll be out there on the internet, which becomes a point where, like, well, that's the guys. You have a presence out there. Like a graphic novel might have panels, or you have a song that has an album, it has a thematic element to it. Whatever it is, tangible form, and putting it out there, you not only can get feedback, but I think you can also probably get, especially today more than ever, some degree of acclaim where you go, well, I do have 800,000 people that have seen this. Well, people are going to pay attention to that. They're going to say, well, what have you got there? I'd like to see. And that actually works to your favor as long as it's in tangible form of appreciation. So that's playing the other side of the gorilla to say, how do you protect yourself? Well, it's so obvious that you stole it. that it's almost embarrassing in front of a jury. You know.
Richard, how's your connection? Are you good?
I'm good now. I had to get out and jump back in. You know.
Okay. Same point to you. The question that Ken brought up is, what do you? Wait, where did it go? I lost it now. Oh, Gunny brought this up. Is there a way to protect your pitch and idea so it can't be stolen? In terms of having stuff stolen, I mean, what do you tell people? Do you tell people generally don't worry about it, or do you tell people to like guard those ideas like like a national secret?
It's such a double-bladed sword, that question, because I mean, you can be so protective over something that you have that could be really great. I mean, I know I've had it happen to me before with titles and stuff like that. I mean, but I mean, you can't. I don't think you can steal an idea. I mean, you look at all these movies that are rehashed of other movies and just different formulas, sort of. You know what I mean? The same way as songs. I mean, you can, if you have a song with a riff, and let's say the riff is, but you do, I mean, then it's yours. So yeah. But it's one of those weird things where, and I'm going through it right now with a couple of ideas that I had with you. I mean, who do the people I'm going to go to with you are people that I know are at a level where they're not going to go and they don't need to steal anything of mine or yours.
Right.
So, right. You know what I mean? It's the smaller groups that, that kind of like, I mean, and the non-disclosure agreements, I mean, I know what they are, and I've had them, people have sent me them before, and I just say, I'm not going to sign it. It's stupid. I mean, but if it's something because it doesn't really protect you. It's just kind of like a formality that it's a non-disclosure. But if you read something really good, you're going to show your friends and show this person and that person. Look at this. What do you think? Or show your manager, or agent, or lawyer, or whatever. But I mean, I think you just got to go to the right person. I mean, look, for example, if you go to AFM. Usually you already have a certain sense of what you're doing. You already have a certain sense of like people that there that aren't going to like. So familiarize yourself with groups that you more don't know yet and what their MO is and what their track record's been. And then just pitch it. Don't worry about it. I think that's the key. And bring in, like, if you bring in like if you got this person A and B attached to the movie too, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's important because that gives you more. I mean, it gives you just more leverage. Or if you're doing a TV show, I got this showrunner attached to it.
Yeah,
that no one's going to screw with you in that reference. So it's just kind of like one of those things where I think you're damned more if you don't. Then you're damned more if you do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
I think just
I agree with that actually. But
don't throw it around. I mean,
yeah, don't just like shoot it out there with a scattergun, but I think that the point you bring up is a good one too. It's relationships, and this is a point that Michael and I have talked about, and you and I have talked about, and GMT and I have talked about, and we've all talked about on this show. It's about relationships, right? Like, know who you're talking to, know your people, like get to know them, even if it's just through social media. I mean, social media is great for a lot of things other than just bitching about the world. It's great to actually get to know people. It's great to break the ice, and it's great to get a vibe for what people are looking for. I mean, look at this community as a fucking testament to social media, right? I mean, what we've done here with the Brigade, everybody here and all the people who are waiting to come up on screen, they're all in the green room right now, like supporting each other. Like, don't worry about it. It's good. You guys are going to kill it. Like stuff like that. Right. Those are relationships. That means that if all you guys, somebody said that it's like they're sitting outside waiting to go in the principal's office. If all you guys went into the principal's office right now together, you all would have each other's back. Right. Like, it's the same thing. You've got to think of the stuff you're pitching as your best friend, somebody whose back you would have. Oh, Michael left. Is he having an issue?
I don't know. And I will add, for any of those people nervous, is just tell us a story. Just share a story with us. That's all you're doing. You're having a conversation. And it's just like if something happened to you the night before, right? Like, I would say, hey, George, you wouldn't believe what happened to me yesterday, man. I was on the bus. You're just sharing a story. You're not auditioning. You're not tap dancing or juggling. This is not, it's not that. And I'm sure everyone out there who has a pitch has shared a story with their friend, with a stranger at a bar. Look at it that way, as opposed to like this audition.
Exactly. And relax into it and just be yourself. Another point that has been consistent that all four of us have said is that we want to see the real you. We want to see the best representation of yourself, because if you can't represent yourself as the true you, then you can't represent your idea. And if you can't convince the person you're pitching that you believe in yourself, then why in the hell should we believe in what you're trying to pitch?
And one thing interesting about that is the word authenticity, which is what Herman was saying earlier. And I agree with that, because one thing you will get is the Hollywood hierarchy, the machine, creating some star or actor or whatever out of the publicity machine. And we very well know that certain actors or actresses are not those heroic people or evil people or anything in between. It's a creation, that is a facade, suspension of disbelief for us to enjoy it. But what's interesting with social media is that we still have these connective elements with people where you go, I like that. That's a really good attitude you have, a really good curiosity, a really good skill set, whatever it is. And that unique authenticity is what we do connect to. Mm-hmm. And that's the interesting differential between a publicity-driven artifice of Hollywood and the authenticity of social media, for the most part, not entirely, but that construct of connectivity. And so for people that are very good with social media and that kind of, if you can go into a room full of strangers and go make 5 friends in a place that you're have nobody else, that is really good practice for pitching.
That's a really good point. And, the one last point, and then we can kind of dive into this a little bit, is, most of the time the people you're pitching will have been doing this a lot longer than you. They will have been around this business a lot longer than you. And they can smell it if you try to fake your way through industry knowledge.
Yeah.
So if you go into a room and you start talking about, well, you know how it goes on a $10 million movie, and you've never been on a $10 million set, the people you're talking to will sniff that instantly.
100%.
You know what I mean? And they'll know. And then that sets you off on this kind of bullshit footstep, which you don't want, because then it makes the person you're talking to be like, oh, this guy's trying to like talk up or trying to.
I couldn't agree more, because I'm a World War II history junkie, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I got lanterns. I've gone to like ships. I've gone to battlefields. I've interviewed people. I mean, the whole bit. And I always tell people authenticity is, it's in World War II. If you don't know the difference between the Yamato and the Yamamoto, you are not a World War II guy. That's it. If you don't know, and that's totally fine.
I don't know any of it.
See, at least Herman's like, one's a ship, the Yamato, 80 tons. Yamato was Isoroku Yamamoto, the admiral who led the attack on Pearl and was chief of the combined fleet. But
right.
And there's a million things I have no idea about. So, but it's that little tiny moment where you can sniff somebody out that fast. And
now, which one of them was married to John Lennon?
Yeah, let's get on with the pitches now. Good.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So everybody just relax, have fun. Look, whoever's coming up first, Herman's already like, fuck this pitch, I'm out.
He's smarter than all of us.
I'm just getting a little drink.
He's going from the water to the liquor.
What are you drinking there, Herman?
Drinking some tequila.
Oh, I got a nice Reposado out there in the kitchen, making me want.
Yeah, I just wanted to, it's organic agave, so it's fine.
It's
healthy good. It's the healthy drink.
It's a healthy drink, but I put Diet Coke in it, so it ruins it.
Oh God. All right, so here we go. So nobody should sweat anything. This will be a lot of fun. How are we going to format this? What do you guys think is a good format? You want to give everybody like a 60-second pitch and then like a 5-minute. So come on, do your 60-second.
Yeah.
And then do 5 minutes. You know.
We just lost Richard.
Or under 5, I guess.
Yeah.
Under 5. All right. So where did Richard go? Connection issues again?
Yeah, I think so.
You know, there was one thing I was going to say as Richard's coming back on. I wanted to ask Joe if he could ask people, what are your favorite screenwriting books, your top one, and just to write it in the comments because I'd love to see which ones they are. And then the other is
they're like Sid Field and Robert McGee. There
we are, you know, Field, McGee.
And then you'll get an artsy guy like, no, it's all about Joseph Campbell because it's
the journey. It's the journey.
And then you'll get to save the cat.
Yeah,
save the cat.
Yeah.
You'll get that.
And then some adventurous guy would be like, you know what? I look at Hollywood as the Michael Ovitz book because that is. Get out of here, man.
I have no form whatsoever. I just write, you know, that kind of thing too. There's an interesting. I'm trying to remember what book it was, but Lawrence Kasdan said something very fascinating. And when you look at a script, what is a script? Well, you'll have a shooting script, which actually I have some from the old days at Fox. I've got a shooting script of Patton, of all things, from my Aunt Molly that worked there for 35 years. It's like 160, 180 pages, this thing. So that's different than an actual script. But when you actually look at a script, what is it? And it's not the movie, is it? It's an outline for a movie. But what it truly is, I think, is a very long sales brochure. Now, when you actually think of it that way, I'm going to put it out there, and you're going to have this opening scene, and one way or the other, somebody goes, oh, shit, that was funny. Okay, let me turn that page. And there's like basically about 4 or 5 scripts I've read in 35 to 40 minutes, and I could name them. Wow. One was The Taken, first Taken I worked on. The other was a movie. It was actually Die Hard, but I've got it somewhere with the title page. The original title page was for Die Hard was Lethal Weapon. Was actually the original title for Lethal Weapon was Die Hard. Then the title was stolen, and they had to come up with Lethal Weapon. So Die Hard read fast, Lethal Weapon read fast, Taken read fast, and literally it was such a The Last Boy Scout. Shane Black had given me Lethal Weapon, and it was so fast in 35, 40 minutes you read that script.
Yep.
And there's something about the fast page turning, but that's a sales brochure.
There's a script that when I was in my 20s, I was working with Denise DeNovi, and Joss Whedon had come in, and he had given us a script called Afterlife that we optioned at Columbia. We had a deal with Columbia. She had a deal with Columbia Pictures. I was just an assistant at the time. I read that. I read scripts very slowly. I don't know why. I just can't read fast. I don't know what it is. Sometimes I'll just sit there and I'll be thinking about the scene, or I just get it through. It's very slow, and I'm trying to work on that. But this one, it's been purchased twice since when I was in my 20s. That's a long time ago. Or I should say it's only 10 years ago, but really it's more than that. But it was a great script. It was very simple, easy to read. It was just a page turner, and the way he wrote was very easy for me. Like I just followed along, and I remember that it's called Afterlife. I'll always remember that script, and it still has not gotten made. So I don't know what that means, but we bought it, and Columbia Pictures tried to make it for a little while, and and then it went to Fox. I would love to get that script. It's just so there's a few gems like that, but most of the time,
You want speed, I think, because when somebody reads a script, and if it is like some things I read, it took like 4 hours to like grind through this. I was not amused. It was not funny. It was not adventurous. It was not, and that's why I think the graphic novel has really superseded it in so many ways, because it has a drive and a verve, and it obviously has this thing where your imagination.
By the way, George's scripts that I read are easily to read for me. By the way.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
They are.
Yeah.
I write like I talk, and I write.
Yeah, there's a certain like quick. I can't explain it. There's an easy way to follow along. It's the one line I get. I know we're at. Okay, now we keep going.
I believe that, and a guy named Warren Lewis actually taught me how to streamline my writing, and he taught me how to make sure that each character has a voice on paper.
Yeah.
But also, more importantly, there he is. How to make sure that your story flows quickly, because when you show people your script, you don't want your director, you don't want your actors, you don't want your production designers, anybody like that. You don't want them to be told everything they have to do. You hire the people that you hire to work on your film because they bring all of their skills.
Yeah.
So if I write a script and I show it to Richard, I don't want the character that I want him to read. I don't want that character to on paper say, your character crosses the bathroom and takes 4 steps to do it and wipes his hands 5 times on a towel before clearing his throat twice and blinking his eyes.
Oh, God, no.
Right? I want Richard to be Richard, and I want Richard to bring Richard to the character. So, by taking all of that unnecessary bullshit and direction out of your script, I think it makes it easier and more fun for people to read the script.
Yeah.
And Richard, what do you think about that? Like, when you read a script, by the way, I'm happy you made it back. When you read a script, do you like to see, do you prefer to see more direction or less direction when it comes to characters and things like that?
Less. There's a reason why the reason why they went after you in the beginning in the first place. I think there's something. I would believe. Either you have a part of you that's inherently inside you, subconsciously or consciously, that can play that character. But as far as direction, obviously there's some people that like to be, directed a lot, I think, but I like to make it my own and stay within the confines of what's going on as far as the script. I'm not, I don't go off half cocked bananas, but I think in the essence of taking the character, making your own, and becoming that character to a point where it surprises the writer and the director and the places you're taking it, where they're like, holy shit, I didn't even see that coming.
I love that. I love when that happens.
It's the only way to do it, because if as an actor, you got to take that chance, that leap of faith, and don't be afraid to fail, because the best things I've ever done, I think the best performances I've done, is when I've finished the scenes and stuff, and the masters and mids and close-ups and stuff like that, and you're left going, I don't even remember what I did. And those are the ones, were great, because you were so in the moment, you actually forgot everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I came out of New York as a theater guy and method actor. So, obviously I'm a little different than a lot of people. There's Meisner, there's a lot of techniques, but I kind of engulfed myself into a character to a point where you kind of lose yourself, through it. And And then, but through losing yourself, you actually find a part of you that you might have not wanted to know about. That's interesting to find. You know, something that you wouldn't have thought through the process of doing that character. So,
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, well, listen, I'm happy everybody's back. I'm happy Richard came back. Joe is back, which means we're about to pull somebody up on screen. So
let's do it.
Let's
All right.
do it.
We got a few people down here, and we are going to go with ladies first. Stephanie, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Uh-oh. I saw the oh my God, and then the thumbs up.
Boom.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Hi, Steph.
Yeah, but you would start with me. Right on.
Well,
Hello, everyone.
welcome to the Indie Brigade. This is a tough
Thank
room.
you.
But
No, it's actually not. I'm excited to be here.
Okay, good.
Great. We're excited to meet you.
Yeah,
Well,
meet
nice to meet you
everybody.
guys.
Or some of you know you, apparently, I guess. I don't know.
Well, apparently my name precedes me. I was called out in this week's post, so I had to show up because last week was a sausage fest. I mean, the last time that we had, flown in. So, yeah.
Good, I'm glad.
I wasn't going to let that slide this time. I had to represent. There's a few of us.
Great.
Well, we're
There's
thrilled.
a few of us.
We're
Yes.
thrilled you're here, and I'm thrilled that you got your note cards in order.
Yeah, well, and my plant still haven't figured out who fed the dog.
So
It's
listen,
probably
so
me.
here's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna just jump right into it.
Right.
Because basically when you walk into one of these big logo rooms, you get a lot less time before you get into your pitch than we've
Right.
already done. So, basically the worst ones I've ever walked into, I walk into an expressionless room and they say, okay, what do you got? So there you go. What do you got?
What do I got? Well, basically, my story is my story, but it is told through a psycho slasher 80s lens, so to speak. I had a job at a fish fry, and I met a lot of Karens that made this film possible, and each one of them has a glorious death. So I have 5 main actual deaths of customers that were assholes in the fry, and then I have the one special one at the end, my final battle. So yeah, it's my story, so I know it. There's a little bit of fluff because obviously I'm not a serial killer yet, but I want to be that, and I want to be that final girl. I'm 44. I'm not necessarily going to be a final girl unless I write it. So here you go. Here's my story.
Great.
Okay, let's start with Michael. What do you think about that? That's the 1 minute.
The 1 minute pitch. I like the idea you started with, that you worked at a fish fry and that you had these deaths. That kind of has an echo to me of having a little bit of Poe, where you could play with it to give us the tone. Tone to me is like tone and theme are the biggest attractive elements to me because it's a little world I get into that I don't see. And particularly when you say, we're frying more than fish at this place. And you get kind of this feel for, okay, the person serving you, if you don't tip well, boom. If you don't do this, have you ever been in a restaurant and just thought that little carving knife's going over your neck?
Oh, yes.
Think when you throw it to the person you're pitching to, try and get some of those hairs going up on the back of their head. Next time when they go out to dinner that night, they're going to go, geez, this lady told me about this fish fry. No, we're not going to have fish fry tonight.
Right.
If you can kind of think of scaring somebody with your story, it's going to stick with them after the pitch.
Right.
And practice that with people to go, geez, you're dangerous.
Cool. Okay. I can totally do creepy. That's kind of my wheelhouse.
Richard, what did you think of that 1 minute? What did that tell you about the project?
I heard just bits and pieces. Sorry.
I think he's still having some internet issues. Okay, GMT, what did that tell you about the
It was
project?
breaking up.
We may lose Richard because of connections.
That's all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm having a hard time hearing. Sorry,
All
Steph.
It's okay.
I mean, if I'll give my 2 cents, and if Richard, if you're clear, you can just jump in. To me, it's more about macro to micro, and I love how you said it's my personal story, and you gave me the fish fry, so you kind of gave me the context in the world a little bit. I just wish you had gotten a little more into that because I was a little confused on what I was about to hear.
Okay.
And as a side note, I know it's hard because I do it sometimes, and this is just being petty for me. Just don't use the word basically. No, it's not basically. It is actually,
right.
This is my story. So I love that you said it's my story. I worked at a fish fry, and some crazy shit went down. And I'm going to tell you about some of those things in my story. And it's a horror movie. I don't know what it is yet. So I think if you tell us a little bit more context and macro, then I'm going, okay, now I want to hear a little bit more of the details so you'll launch into your pitch. But I think you have the right direction.
Cool. Thank you.
I agree with what Michael said. I agree with what GMT said. For me, you kind of roped me in right in the beginning, but then you lost me a little bit because it felt a little bit more. I agree with the don't ever say basically.
Yes.
But it lost me a little bit because it felt more like you were telling me about yourself than what you were telling me about in terms of a project. What I want to know is, lead with look, this is my story. It's based off of this. It's based off of that experience. And here's the film. I got that you were talking about obviously making a film because for obvious reasons, but then you started talking about the kills and all of that other stuff. But then at that point, instead of repersonalizing it back to the serial killer or anything like that, just stay on target and stay on focus with the, here's the movie, here's what it is. So this is based off my personal experience. This is my, where my brain went when I was having this experience in my life. But here's what led to it being a movie, and here's why this movie is something that we should talk about making together.
Right on. Thank you.
I just wanted to say one thing is that I remember working with some people pitching, and that the idea was you'd have this start of a personal story, and then at the same time you have a very pithy explanation of your story, beginning, middle, and cliffhanger. Not beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
Because you want people to ask more, but when you had that literally 15 to 20 seconds down so pat, then it allows people to go, oh, keep going. Then they're not even getting lost in any of the words, and they have the story and the essence no matter what. And I always thought that was good, but it takes a lot of work to cut it down to the absolute essence of that. And you can try out dozens of versions. I've seen people do it, and they go back.
Because I think you're on the right track. You said the fish fry, and then you said that, I'm using my words, that shit went down. Those two things makes me go, okay.
Yeah.
It started with a bad review on Facebook. That's actually how it started. So
it's like now what,
Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I think we should do. I think now, if you don't mind hanging out in the green room, we'll go through some other 1-minute pitches, and then you hang out in the green room, and then come back up.
I can go throw up now
and do under 5 minutes.
You did fine.
Yeah, you did great. Come back and we'll do an under 5-minute version of that. So stick in the green room while we go through the other 1 minute.
Pull out your pen, Stephanie, and work on it. You just went in the hallway. Somebody had to take a call in the pitch room, and then you're going to get a chance to come back and do it again. So here's your time.
Okay. I'll be ready this time. I'll be more readier this time.
You did great.
All right, just so the guys in the green room know that you are going to come on in order of which you came. So it's Sam, then Sean, then Jack.
All right, here we go.
Sam, give me a thumbs up, brother. Sam, I am Mason. Welcome.
What's up?
What's going on, everybody?
How you doing, man?
Mr. Greco, GMT, George, Joe. How you guys doing?
We're doing great. How are you doing?
Dude, I'm doing
Good,
good,
man.
brother.
Good, man. Good. You've got some cool shit going on, some killer shit going on, and I know that
Coming on.
from our conversations outside of the brigade. So I'm really stoked that you decided to come on and do this with us tonight, Sam.
You know, I just figured it'd be something fun. You know, we've missed a couple times together this week, and I just figured it'd be fun to come on and rehearse.
Yeah. Well, hit us.
All right, guys. So my story's something that's never been done before. It's from a serial killer's point of view before he's caught. I've done a lot of research, and I've developed this story for a very long time. My film is called Normal Terror, and it's about a single father who's doing his best to raise his teenage son, and at the same time battling with the morality within himself, as he is a serial killer. So the way I've spaced this film out is approximately every 7.5, 8 minutes is another kill. So it bounces back and forth between killer and father-son relationship. So in the father-son relationship, I want everybody to appreciate the guy, you know, that is a single father, which is something that a lot of people can relate to, you know, and especially nowadays. And at the same time, they also, you know, want to hate the guy because of the horrible things that he does.
All right.
Boom.
Let's
start with Greco. Did you hear that one?
Yeah, I did. I like the idea, Sam. It's an interesting idea. You know what I'd like to know? Because I serial killers are always an interesting subject. Just on a psychology level, and being a single dad that he is as well. So you got the dichotomy of that, and also what he's doing. I'd like to know why he's doing it. You know, is there something estranged what happened with his wife, or was he, when he was younger, a person that was from a single father, or maybe, I mean, and what does he go after? Does he go after? Does a serial killer just go after women? Go after men? Is it just random? I'd like to know, like, where is how you got the relationship with your son? It's your son, right? It'd be your son?
Correct. Yes.
What is it, something that he enjoys doing as far as being a serial killer, or is it something that he does because of something else is going on? Because when he gets home, how does he turn it off? And so I'd like to know the pathos in that. I mean, I know I'm getting a little elongated, but if we were talking about it, like, okay, so if you go every 7 minutes, you're going back and forth. So is he a guy that goes like to rest stops, you know, and set up the rest stops? You know what I mean? Is he a guy that just randomly just stuffs around the city? Is he a guy that gets people off of like Tinder? You know what I mean? And then, but you also got to have the relationship with his son. So I think the thing for me is I'd like to know where you'd find that to come back, and where that kind of fine line is there. And is there a cause? There's always got to be a cause and effect of everything. So the cause of him doing that affects other things, and the effect of him doing that causes other things.
Right.
So I'd like to know why he's doing that as a serial killer, but can be a great dad by, I'm sure, like all his friends and stuff like that see him as like the golden dad. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yet he does it, you know, almost like a reversal of a Batman. You know what I mean? But he's just really a bad dude. You know, so
And
basically,
I couldn't really fill out all that information in a 60-second pitch. So
no, I know.
But
Sorry,
but see,
Good
but
night.
here's the point I want to make. Richard just punctuated Michael's point, which is that a well pitched pitch raises those questions. You just brought up all the right fucking questions. you want those. Every question Greco just had for you is the kind of question that a good pitch is going to make somebody think about.
And I would add if you want to be, by the way, and I like that idea, but and I think you did really well in sharing that idea. I don't, and this is not a negative thing. I think the idea is better than the pitch almost, meaning like all you had to do is lay out the information, which I think is great. And so I don't think I needed you to be some like, long-winded 60 seconds. So I think you did a great job, but I do think that what Richard was saying is great, and what George is saying in terms of how it's teasing a question, it's making you want to. I like that, but I do think that there's an opportunity. I don't know what the rest of the story is. I do think there's an opportunity on why he does it, because I think Richard brought up a really good point. Why he does it could be also part of the concept, meaning, but he's trying to stop, or whatever it is. It could actually be a hook. Again, I don't know if it could be, but you can use that makes you go, holy shit. All right. Oh, but he's a teacher, or but he's a whatever that one element is. So you could use you do both. You kind of punch the question and how the execs are going to want to hear more, which I think you did a good job. But you can punch it where it's like so you give Richard a little bit of what he wants, and then you're like, okay.
Right.
That's the only thing that I felt that you can do, but I thought you did a great job. Although I will say, because we're being honest here, it's never been done before. I would just take that out.
Okay.
Because I don't know if it has or not. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's more like you want to be more inviting. But I thought you did a great job. I think that's a kind of cool. It's a cool premise.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Richard said exactly what I was thinking, like who is he and why and this and that, and so all those things are going to follow in your under 5-minute pitch. So just with those little comments I had, I thought you did a good job.
Thank you,
Michael.
I thought it was a good job. I liked the delivery. I think that the challenge with for me personally with serial killer movies is that I think over the years I've probably read 20 to 30 of them. So I think the challenge is it's become its own genre, a major subgenre, shall we say. And so the element there is what's unique about this and how is that emphasized. And in this case, you have a guy who wants to be a good father. And let's just say, and I'm making this up, but he's a serial killer, which is random. And then you have this moment where his ex-wife dies, so he gets custody. Now he has this compulsion, which was random, and he transforms it. It's like, we're going to make a better life together. Well, the guy who doesn't give him his promotion all of a sudden dies. The teacher that squelches his son's activity in school to jump a grade dies. It becomes this kind of thing. And then the other element is him trying to teach morality to his 5-year-old, which is like a spark of why, how could you ever, learn morality from this beast, as it were. And I think that's some part of that is when you find evil and there's some kind of good quality in it, it's the most disturbing element. It's like, as a friend of mine said, he goes, look, there's this thing about like, he goes, Hitler used to like dogs and giving chocolate to children. Well, you get this insane paradox there of, okay, that certainly erases absolutely nothing, but it's the shading of a character where it's unexpected, some kind of unexpected strange sensitivity towards this paragon of evil.
Yeah.
And I think if you find that twist and deliver it up at the end, it definitely will be provocative, like Richard had all these questions too, which is good. You want to inspire questions,
Yeah.
enthusiasm, and depth of interest.
Yeah.
So,
I just think you could have colored it a little more with some high concept pitch facts about the character and the setup and the situation. I mean, because having less information is naturally going to cause an exec to ask more. That doesn't mean it's the right kind of curiosity. It's more like a deficit. Like, what? You don't want what? You want the interest of like, tell me more. So there's a difference.
Right. And I agree with what everybody here is saying, Sam, but I also want to say that you killed it. You nailed it. You knew exactly how you wanted to pitch it, what you were pitching. And I think that there's enough similar responses that tells me that that's something that if you called me up and pitched me that, I think all of us would want to figure out how to help you suss that out a little bit, figure out how to help you get that made. And I you know, and basically present to you sort of what we were talking about and saying, you know, this is a great foundation of a concept. Let's blow this out and turn it into something that can make money. So
thanks, Sam.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Good job, Sam.
All right.
There we go.
Sorry. So we have Sean Smithson up next. And Sean's totally green.
It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. Sean, what's up, brother?
hi, Sean.
How you doing?
Sean, how are you, Sean?
How are you doing? I see you're in your wood shop. Guys, for those of you who don't know, Sean Smithson is he found the Brigade, and he's a phenomenal woodworker. He and I met through woodworking.
Nice.
And we found the Brigade, and he has now, through the Brigade, started writing his very first horror film.
Very cool.
This is all 100% new to him. He's a dear friend, very good guy, and a huge advocate of the Brigade. And I'm excited that you popped on here with us tonight.
I want to take George to all my meetings now. To give me that prep, so I don't have to do it myself. Thank you.
Sean, what do you got for us, brother?
All right. So, okay, movie I want to pitch to you guys is titled The Devil in the Box. Basically, it would start out with the family running through the forest that are being chased by shadow figures. They find a cabin. The father tries to save his children and his wife, and ends up finding out that the gentleman in the cabin is actually the devil. And he sees a box with the devil trap symbol on it. The box falls down. He traps the devil. And years later, so this would start out in the 18th century, and then in present day, as the box is passed down through family being protected, it gets opened by one of the children of the descendants, and chaos ensues from the box being opened and releasing the devil.
Awesome.
So that would be go from there.
All right.
Let's start with Michael on this one.
You know, what's intriguing to me is that you have this timeless quality of the devil and evil somehow captured and released, and how, in my mind, I went like, well, so does the family who originally trapped it, are they somehow coming through time to be back in the present day? That's the thing that intrigued me, because you have these two time points. I was also thinking, when you were talking about trapping it, the Edgar Allan Poe's, casket, and Amontillado, and then, a number of other pieces there that had this crystallization of a new genre as far as a mystery goes. His epic works, I think, were amazing, and it had that tone. I like that tone, the idea of capturing something. I think if you're dealing with people running through the woods, you need to set that up front. So you can say literally it's, I'll say 1843, and a family is running through the woods, and they're fleeing from their wagon that they left. And they go to their home, and things happen. So you need that setting very importantly, because if I'm thinking in the modern day and then it throws back into the time, I've got to reframe it all. So you want to start that off right at the very beginning, and you can almost say cut to the present day, and here we are with their descendants, and someone finds the key that opens up the chain that releases, and then you have chaos ensues. So I could see how it could play with these two elements there. Well, just frame it from the very beginning where I'm at.
GMT.
I like the title, and I'm a big title guy, because I feel like that's kind of the pseudo marquee when you see a script on someone's desk, or a subject line in an email or whatever. I know a lot of people don't feel the same way, but I'm a title whore, so I like that. I think I did really well with the pitch. I think I forgot what point, because I got knocked off. I forgot what point I felt that you should have just stopped. I think it was before you started talking about, because I wasn't sure. You started talking about generational and back in time. So I was imagining it was current. And I understand that there's probably a history to it, a mythology to this box, so I get it. And I would naturally ask that question, like, well, where does this come from? How does this keep moving? But I can't remember where it was, but I think up until that point, it was interesting to me. And again, the title was just, for me, probably more than the stuff you said afterwards. It was like, okay.
Very good point. Greco?
I sold something off of a title once, so it's just easy. Not easy, but it's attractive.
Sure. Greco, what did you think of that one?
It's a great idea. I think where you lost me is when you said they're running through the woods. It's a thing that's kind of a cliche. It's almost like I wouldn't even go there with it, because running through the woods, I like that it starts off in the 18th century, and like Michael said, you almost like they have this box, they trapped the devil. I like to know how they did it, and then this family opens it up in present day. Cut to, present day, where, it's a birthday party and the family's got this box and the kid opens it and stuff like that, and they don't think anything of it, and all shit breaks loose. But I think you got a good idea there. The title, as GMT said, I mean, I'm a title guy too. I'm a title snob, and a great title. So I think you got a lot to work with there. I think just focus on a little bit as far as your pitch, running through the woods and stuff like that. I mean, there's so many movies in that genre that you have kids running through the woods.
I actually agree with that. I agree with that.
I mean? It's almost like, I can go into Wishmaster, Halloween, Friday the 13th, Blair Witch. They all got people running through the woods.
Cabin in the Woods, even.
Pumpkin in the corn.
Does it have to be the woods? Does it have to be the woods?
Right.
Yeah, doesn't have
Why
to
not?
be.
Why not? Could it be like the city or a suburban area or like downtown or?
Right.
I think if you, I don't know. I mean,
That's a great idea, Richard, because I like the idea that you can see a cabin in some part of Philadelphia that was, picking that because it gets that kind of creepy East Coast older vibe. But here you have it in Philadelphia, which is a cabin, and then you cut to the present day, and it's still the same kind of layout.
but it's grown up.
But now it's grown around it.
Yes, exactly.
And now the shitstorm comes to the city.
But now, see, here's what's happened. And Sean, I'm going to tell you my thoughts here too, real quick. First of all, I also love the title, and I'm also a title guy. In fact, a lot of the stuff I write starts with a title.
I love both. I love all of you now.
Yeah.
I was TV more.
Title is key.
That's how I started. Honestly,
Here's
I
where
made
I'm
the title up.
I think that your pitch needs to focus on the mythology. I think your pitch
Yeah.
needs to basically say something like, look, this is a modern day telling of a modern day family that unearths a box that the devil was physically trapped in the 1800s. Obviously, we're going to have a little bit of mythology in there to explain how the devil got trapped, but it's really going to focus on the family dynamic of a family trying to survive and do all
That's an excellent pitch.
Right? Exactly. So
you're right on.
So that's how you pitch that. But now what I want to point out is that all of us motherfuckers on this screen just basically gave you a bunch of creative notes on that thing, and your response was, well, it doesn't have to be the woods, it doesn't have to be this, it doesn't have to be that. What I want to solidify in you, brother, is that if you walk into that pitch believing that your story has to be in the woods, then it doesn't matter what any of us fucking say. It's going to be in the woods, and you've got to, so what you want to do is you want to think about the fact that there's going to be things, there's going to be people in the room who are going to say to you, what if we did it like this? So you've got to identify, to use the term that I've been seeing all over everything lately, you've got to identify the hill that you're willing to die on when it comes to your film. If you're cool, if you're sitting in a room and Richard says, what if it's in the city, and you truly think that's a good idea, then cool. If Michael says, what if it's a cabin in the middle of Philadelphia that the city has built up around over 100 years, and you think that's a good idea, cool.
Yeah.
But don't let the rooms and don't let the logos bully you into changing what you believe is the vision for your story.
There's the interesting aspect that I think Cameron
That's
put
good advice, George. But I do think in the city would be hot, because there's this evilness happening in a city where everyone's just going to work, buying Starbucks, and then its families have to going through this. It has to be going through this awful experience. So.
Mm-hmm. Michael, I think you were going to say something, but I think we've all got issues. We've all got connection issues tonight. So.
No worries. I think one thing interesting is the word, and I think Cameron is absolutely right. And I like what everybody said about your project. I think it's all good input about it, really, that I hope you capitalize on. One thing is that the mythology, to me, is always, here's the history of this being, Zeus, Apollo. Mythology comes from this. But there's another part called the universe of why. So if they're running through the woods, and the reason they're running through the woods is because there's a copper mine. And the copper mine has a certain kind of field or something that this evil has to be contained in. Maybe that's it. That's not just the mythology, that's the universe you're creating. So if it has this underneath the ground, then that's how they're able to contain it in the first place. But now that copper mine, I'm saying this, I think they call it the mining term is a certain sliver, I guess, or something through the earth. And suppose all of a sudden that's disrupted in the city. Now the devil can escape from within this circle. But whatever you want to do. But the point is, though, is now you have to create the universe of the devil can do this, but not that. And it has to be consistent, because as soon as you do something at the very end, surprise, the devil, was contained and the people won. And we don't see that coming. You don't have it planted and paid off well. There is a lack of emotional substance and feeling that the audience is going to get. But if you actually know and set things out in that universe, not just the mythology, then you get a really tight script where all the locks in the house are made of copper. So even if the devil did get out, that's the second level of the copper windows, are all have this material. They've actually planned this. There's a weather vane on top that strikes lightning that adds these electrons that keep the devil at bay. Mm-hmm. And then something breaks, and then, the shitstorm happens. So getting these layers to your story is what really matters, because we'll follow the logic, but you got to dig deep and deep and deep, and don't take it for granted, because like Cameron said, build the hill upon which you will die.
Yep.
Yeah, just
I feel like Cameron.
Just break the rules of the world.
Yeah, the rules of the world. Yeah.
All right, Sean, I think we got somebody else down there.
All right. Awesome advice. I appreciate it all.
Good job.
You got it.
Yeah, great job, man.
We'll see you.
I do like that title.
Yeah.
Great
I
job.
do like that title.
All right, you guys.
Michael, you should be a development executive.
Well, thank you. I like story.
You're going into like notes and shit. I just want to be like, all right, just get the pitch right. I'm like, damn, that's good.
By the way, what a lot of people don't know about yet is that people right now are looking at a large portion of what's going to fill the briefcase. And that's all I'm giving anybody.
Oh, there you go.
Big announcement coming soon.
It's a beautiful thing. You guys ready for Jack Hunter?
Yeah. What's up, man?
What's up, man? How you guys doing?
Good. How are you doing, brother?
How are you?
I'm super nervous, honestly. I mean, we just had 3 great pitches, and now I got to measure up to it. So,
No, you're good, man.
you know,
Yeah.
Everything's good.
What do you got?
and I'm gonna be pitching. Wait, okay. Well, I think some of you guys know about this project. So should I begin now?
Yes.
Yeah, what do you got?
All right, 20 years ago when I was 15, I was obsessed with horror movies and Scream and Urban Legend and all those films like that. I actually wrote a short story called Faceless. And at the time in my school, I got kicked out for this short script the short story because it was so graphic and violent. It actually set the pavement for the rest of my entire life. And actually people to this day still think I had a hit list when I was 15 and I'm 35. My story about Faceless is that it is centered around a town called Winter Haven, and it's more in the vein of Scream and Urban Legend, and it's just on steroids. There's a secret being told, and everyone knows everyone in the town, but there's something that is entirely screwing things up, and people keep dying left and right in all crazy ways. And the characters, it's a group of friends, you know, your typical 80s, 90s type of group of friends. And one by one, they keep dying until the very end. But at the very end, the person you think is the killer or killers, are they really the killer after all?
What's it called?
Faceless.
Oh, that's right.
Okay.
I like it.
So well done. We're going to start with GMT this time.
Oh, all right. By the way, Urban Legend was written by Sylvia Horta, which was my partner. We sold our first TV show to Sci-Fi Channel in 2001, and he passed away last year. But he was my we were just kids growing up, so he's very important to me. So Urban Legend was his first horror movie. I thought you did a really great job. I guess this is part of the compliment is like, I want to, like when you said, you know, they're dying in like unique, crazy ways or whatever you said, that's intriguing to me because to me that means it's like conceptual. Like I did a movie called Truth or Dare, which was like, we had to come up with all these different ways that people have to die, right? Like what's the dare? Right. So to me that kind of, captured my interest. And again, it's all about who you're pitching, right? Which we mentioned earlier. I like the name Faceless. And I'm trying to connect the title to what you said.
I can. Okay. Well, the killer, here's something. Because I've been working on this.
I think there's a concept there. There's like a pitch concept there.
Right.
There is.
I've been working on this since I was 15, and I've drawn this character. So imagine like a Grim Reaper, and the killer is like like there's no face, and I've been drawing it since I was 15, and I've had the concept of the killer, and I've also had the concept of the type of knife he uses. And it's more of like an old English where the blade comes out from the side and you can rip out guts, et cetera, et cetera.
I like that you say you wrote a short story about it, which is intriguing to me. I mean, I thought you did a great job. I would actually want to know more. Or there's a script written, obviously, right? For this.
Yes. There's it's actually been rewritten twice. I wrote it, I rewrote it, and I updated it because the original script won Best Screenplay at a film festival, but I had to update it because it's 2020 and not 2012 anymore. Things have changed.
This would just be a situation where I think you passed the finish line where I would say, let me read the script.
Right.
Like, it's enough for me to go, let me just see how you're playing out, how you're executing the concept.
Right.
Okay.
Greco.
Yes, interesting idea. I mean, obviously, I think the thing that keyed out of it was, I think you said urban legend and something else on steroids.
Scream.
Yeah. Steroids, which is, kind of like, I remember that. It's interesting what you just said after the fact about you've been drawing this face since you're 15.
Yeah.
I mean, you just came up with a character there that could be your through line through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a little kid that's always been doing this, and it becomes faster and faster and faster as the progression gets closer and closer and closer, as he gets more daring and daring, as more he kills. Then that face comes to fruition with this kid. You know what I mean? But it got me thinking, and I thought you did a great job, Jack. I mean, good job.
Thank you.
Michael?
Thank you so much.
I really like Richard's idea there. I think it's brilliant. The idea that you have the fact that you came up with a story when you're 15, and it becomes obsessive to you as a writer, is the obsession that goads on this young man. And the idea that the face becomes clearer with each death gives two parts to it. And one would be, well, do you know this guy, and are you an accomplice, is the first thing I would ask. And the second is, when it's finally filled in, is it going to look like the person drawing it, that they're a killer that they didn't know they were, because they have two personalities? That's kind of where my head went right now when Richard was talking about that.
Mm-hmm.
Where you don't know it about yourself. I think because the person is faceless. And I think somewhere, and whatever in your concept, is to have some kind of intriguing twist there. I also envisioned it, and whether or not this is correct or not, in a small town where the people die in such unusual ways that it becomes of course, the talk of the town. It's not buried in, New York or Chicago, or where there's so many people in the
right. It takes place in like I'm from Louisiana, and we have small towns. Obviously out the ass down here.
You have
Manville,
like the whole right across Lake Pontchartrain. I know it well.
Yeah, I used to live in New Orleans. I actually just moved. But yeah, it's a small town where, like, what's different also with the story with the small town is that everything that happens in the story is stuff that wouldn't happen in a big city. Like, there's a different atmosphere, and I think that's what would bring, people to the reality of it, because it's not like LA cop.
It makes sense in your environment.
So
yes, sir.
So here's where I'm at with it. I think you did a great job. I think you need to get the title. The first question GMT had for you was, what's it called? You threw the title, but you threw it conversationally in the middle of your pitch.
That's right.
You need to obviously lead with that. Okay, I'm going to talk to you about a film called Faceless. Some of the stuff that you have answered throughout the commentary, the post-pitch commentary, I think you need to fit in there. I think you need to fit in your pitch about the fact that this is it's called Faceless. It's about a killer. It's okay to have a visual aid like you did. It's about a killer without face who uses a custom-made knife and does this and that. I think you blindly hit a bullseye with your two. You said Scream and Urban Legend. I think you blindly hit a bullseye by saying those two. Personally, I think it's dangerous to throw out other films that you are comparing your pitch to, because it sets an expectation in the room. But I think you got lucky tonight.
I think so too.
I I'm like, if this was a pitch in an office, in my office or whatever, I would say, well, tell me about the kills because it's important to me.
Right. Exactly. So maybe even, and by losing a couple of those things, it gives you more of an opportunity to fit at least one of those into your pitch. So this is about a small town killer with no face.
That's better. That's better because you like, he was right. George is right. You just were lucky tonight.
Like it's called.
I'm happy you knew Urban Legend and you worked with the guy.
Yeah, no, I
those are my favorite films.
Oh, good.
But the point is, the takeaway from that, Jack, is that you got lucky.
You got lucky.
Thank you. I'm lucky, Jack. Thanks.
There's something interesting that whenever I've gone in pitching, there's this moment where you say hello. There's the meet and greet. How you been? So and so. Oh, that's good. Da 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 da. People sit down on the couch and they go, "What do you got?"
Yep.
Boom. The gate's now open, and at that moment is when you have to have it down so well to say, well, I've got something called faceless. Boom. Okay, what's that? And you watch people, you just see their heads go, what's that? And they turn their head a little to kind of hear a little bit more. Okay, good. Or Devil in the Box, the other title we all like. Mm-hmm. And then you see that, and then you deliver your first sentence, and you have people you could see their eyes blink and look at you like, oh, no, wow, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
You want to kind of string them along, no different than running into your family's house at Thanksgiving, going, guys, I got to tell you something, and all these heads are going to turn towards you, and you go, I'm down the street and I saw a bag of money on the ground, and everybody's like, what the hell's going on here? It's almost you want to practice it in a way that allows that kind of hook.
There's a certain rhythm, by the way.
Rhythm.
Even back in you guys heard this old story where even back in the caveman days where the fire's in the middle and the elderly guy, he pauses.
Yeah.
There's an instinctual rhythm that we like to hear stories. And by the way, and I, in a weird way, I joke about this, but just trying to pick up a chick, maybe you're still telling a story. You're still making, you're still doing the same. So,
Mac, great job, man. Thank you.
So what I want to do, if I may, because we're almost out of time, I want to bring up everybody that we just had on real fast so we can actually get a screenshot of all the participants that were in this.
Yeah, that'd be great. And I actually, while everybody's on screen, I would like to address something quickly. Is that it? Is that everybody?
Oh, there you go.
Guys, thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you for having what it takes to come up here and pitch your stuff. Everybody that you pitch to knows exactly how hard that is. And I want to thank you all for doing the 1 minute pitch. Hopefully everybody that you pitched to tonight will be able to come back next week because everybody was saved by the bell on the 5 minute pitch because we're out of time. So what I would like to do is have everybody come back next week and do your 5 minute pitch with the same panel if everybody's available. And just kind of continue this because I think this is really one of our most fun episodes that we've done.
Yeah.
And I think that I hope everybody had as much fun as I did. So
I did.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I thought it was great. I just think that everybody should really practice in the mirror and also with people to hone your pitch. And I will tell you this, do it relentlessly. As soon as you think you go, oh, that's good enough. Oh, when you said the word enough, that means do it again.
Yeah. And I'll tell you next week for the 5 minute pitches, we're going to provide that hostile environment Michael talks about.
Oh, yeah. I had a guy come in, I was pitching him, and this guy's taking off his shoes and like trying to pull string off his socks. And then he's gotten in an argument with his secretary. I don't know what was going on there. Like, I think he insulted her like husband. And, she comes in and she's going, you're just an asshole. And I'm in the middle of the pitch here. And it's, this is paramount. So you don't know what you're going to get there, but, you got to go, oh, okay, so tough day. So let me get back to my, pitch.
Yeah.
And also just remember, like we talked about this a couple of times I've been on this podcast, is that they're all humans.
Yeah.
That's what we have in common. They're all just people. have mortgages, they have stress, they have to figure out what's happening in their lives. So it's not, you know, and
they want a winner.
They want to tell their boss that they found a great pitch and a new fresh voice. Like, you know, you are, they want you to succeed, even though they may not act like it, because a lot of them are assholes. But,
yeah. So thank you guys. Thank you everybody who pitched to us tonight. Thank you everybody who came on as part of the panel.
Love you guys.
We'll do it again next week.
Nice meeting you, man.
It was an honor, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dropping everybody off now.
Thank you very much.
Great.
I'll
Awesome.
see you soon.
Wow. And Michael,
Yes,
it's been 2 weeks.
that's right.
Where's your beard?
I know. I'm the beardless wonder here, right? I know. I just I get up and shave every morning because I just I don't know. It feels like I'm starting the day and I'm still making an effort. Now the hair's a different story. This is like, you know, it's all there, but it's going everywhere. You know,
You're starting to catch up.
I am. I think Joe and I will be like the apostles here any minute. You know,
That was fun tonight. Did you have fun?
I had a great time. It was really good to. I think what's nice is that people get a sense of education to really try the craft and get on the wire and go. It's like one of the best things I ever did was do stand-up comedy, and I did that, and I did about 50 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the very first time I did it, I'm up there. I drank 3 quarts of water. I didn't piss a teaspoon, man. I was like sweating like you can't believe. And my mind starts going, okay, I got friends out there. I can literally on the second story of the Comedy Store, and I'm thinking I can smash this window, crawl along the roof, shimmy down a pipe that I know is out front, and run off. And I already have to apologize to like 12, 15 people. You know, this equation starts to work for me. and I'm sharing it with the viewers and you guys because, you know, we're all human. We all get that fear. And then you go up and you do it and you go, well, that wasn't as bad. And I mean, I literally through the night, I sweated through my shirt 3 times.
Yeah.
I literally, because it's stand-up comedy. You're up there all by yourself. I've done improv. You got somebody to save you. You got to play. You got words to fall on, you know, but your mind starts doing this and you do it. And then all of a sudden you go, and by the 10th time you're doing it, you're going, Joe, shut the fuck up, man. I'm going to go after your ass right now, man. What do you think you are? Like Paul, Peter, or Mary? What's with the hair, dude? You know, and, you know, you start hammering people. You don't care.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's the kind of thing with pitching, too. You got to get through it. And then pretty soon you don't give a rat's ass. And you're like, you know, talking to anybody. But then you're authentic. So I think this was a great.
I can't wait to hear everybody's 5-minute pitches next week.
Yeah.
So, and you know what? Next week I'll tell the story about when I had an allergic reaction, literally from food that I ate before a pitch meeting, and the flop sweat and all the other stuff. So that was a nightmare. But anyway, Michael, thank you so much, brother. I'll see you in a couple days.
All right, my friend.
All right.
Bye, Joe. Bye, Cameron.
All right.
That was fun.
Going to pop up David real fast. David, your show is going to be in about 5 minutes. It may be a minute or two late. You are going to have voice actor David Eddings on. Stay tuned at 11 o'clock. Sorry, didn't mean to steal your thunder. We can't hear you.
You're muted. Nope. Tech diffs.
Technical difficulties. We
Nothing. Got nothing.
Well,
we'll be back.
We'll see you at 11. Hopefully. Hopefully we can hear you.
Have a great show, David, if you can hear me. Love you, man.
Oh.
All right, everybody. You ready, Joe?
I am ready.
All right. That was a lot of fun. Thank you, everybody, for watching, Joe. I love you to death.
Love you, brother.
I love everybody who had the stones to come up here tonight. And I look forward to next week. Get your 5-minute pitches ready. And as always, fuck off till next time. be an indie means we buck a system that doesn't want us. To be a fringe filmmaker means we don't do it for them. We do it for ourselves. To be an outlaw on the fringe means we'll die before we fail. Be an outlaw.
I should take that down. Got a horrible habit of doing that.
Hello, Mr. Ridgely. Can you hear me now?
I can, Mr. Madison. Can you hear me?
Yay!
How are you?
Our new horny section.
Well, who was it? Groucho Marx, and who was the guy with the horn?
Guy with the horn. Well, I used to do the horn on Groucho's "You Bet Your Life" every time somebody would say the magic word. Say the magic word, you can win $500.
It was like a blonde curly guy with a black top hat or something.
There was also Bozo the Clown, I think. He had a horn.
Oh, okay.
How are you, Mr. Ridgely?
I felt a little rushed, to be honest with you. How are you?
My apologies. Do you need to take more time? I'll just kind of stand here. Hello, everybody.
No, I can't, kid. I wouldn't do that to you. Harpo, thank you.
Yes.
Scott, Harpo Marx.
No, he was a harp guy. Oh, I guess he did have a squeezy thing.
Yeah. Okay.
So how you been, Joe? I know you had kind of a crappy week.
What are you gonna do?
Did you survive the hurricane? Any damage to the Ridgely estate or manor?
I think the one plant outside got a little overwatered, but that's about it.
Okay, it was one of those events like where one of your plastic furniture deck chairs fell over, and that was pretty much the extent of what happened.
Pretty much. It headed up north. How'd you guys make out?
We actually got a ton of damage up here in New York, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. In fact, a good part of New Jersey is still without power, like 48 hours later. I get it. It's Harpo, bro. I get it. I turned 50, everybody, last Sunday, and nothing seems to work up here anymore. So you have to forgive me for being old and senile. I've seen every Marx Brothers movie like 57 times.
But Libby won the internet tonight with this comment.
Squeak your squeaker. What did I do with my squeaker? I lost my squeaker already.
See, that's what happens when you turn 50.
There you go. You never know where you stick your squeaker when you're 50. Does that work for you, Libby? I hope so. Well, yes. Hello, everybody. That was an absolutely amazing show. I felt so left out, Joe, because I really wanted to pitch a movie to those guys.
So why didn't you?
I have no idea. Okay. Nobody wants to see me. What the hell? It's like you have Grieco and Mandaville and all that wonderful talent out there. And, I come in and I mop the floors when all the big hitters come up. You're directing. I like it. That's you got the little directing thing going on there. Yes, tonight. Hey, Sean. By the way, you did an incredible job. I'm very proud of you. That was a very, very, very cool pitch. I would. Hey, Will. I'm sure you've seen them all too. Hey, Jack. How are you, brother? So everything's relatively good, Joe. Wits End has now been out, I think, for 3 weeks. A lot of people are seeing it, which is always a good thing. And the reviews seem to be relatively positive. So that's cool. I turned 50 and my wife and daughter took me out to see covered bridges. I have this passion for covered bridges. So they took me to Allentown, which is about an hour south of where I live. And we went and saw all the wonderful covered bridges of Allentown. And sadly, I just heard that one of the ones we seen got damaged from the hurricane. So how is that for karma? I seen a bridge that's been around for 200 years. I see it, and a week later, it's floating down the Potomac. So, that's the luck of Dave. But with that being said.
Allentown, like the Billy Joel song?
Yes. They've taken all the coal from the ground, oddly enough. And it's getting really hard to stay. Sorry. Joe, I want to actually, before I bring my first guest on, the wonderful David Eddings, who's a wonderful voice actor, and you never know who else is going to pop on. Before I start my show, I want to do a learning moment. Because I feel like I've been doing a lot of fluff and not really doing, this show is, this whole network is about teaching and learning and all kinds of crafts, everything from, being writers to being producers, to being filmmakers. And there's something out there that's confusing. Yes, I survived my birthday, oddly enough. There's something out there that's confusing to a lot of young filmmakers. In fact, Kevin Smith tells a great story about how Bruce Willis gave him a really hard time on, I think, Cop Out, about not knowing his difference, the difference between lenses. So I am going to give a very, very, very brief little essay here on the difference of lenses. And I ain't setting up a joke or anything. It's really something that
Can I bring you full screen?
Sure.
All right.
It's really something that indie filmmakers need to know. And bear with me, I'm going to put my glasses on because I'm an old man and I can't see anymore. But the first lens I'm going to show you guys is, this is a EF mount Canon lens. Now this lens is specifically what's known as a prime lens. And prime lenses are the lenses that both professional and independent filmmakers use when they make motion pictures. Now, what makes a prime lens is that it has a fixed focal point or focal length. This one is a 50 millimeter, which is one of the ones that are most commonly used. It's one of the ones that indie filmmakers need to have in their arsenal. And the reason why that the 50 millimeter lens, prime lens, is so important to independent filmmakers is it simulates what the human eye sees. So this is a 50 millimeter prime lens. Prime lens are fixed focal points, and the 50 millimeter is one that all of you independent filmmakers need to have in your lens bag. This is an EF mount Canon. The other kind of lens that exists is a zoom lens. A zoom lens, this is a 75 by 300 millimeter, and a zoom lens has a variable focal point, meaning that you could zoom in or zoom out of an image and it's not fixed. The reason why zoom lenses are not as popular with independent filmmakers is that they don't have the aperture or the f-stop that prime lenses have. And what that means is a prime lens allows more light into the camera, allows you to get better images in low light situations, and is just a better tool when you're making independent films. So make sure you have a prime lens when you're shooting independent features over a zoom lens. The quality is very, very easy to see by people who are in the filmmaking world, and you'll see the difference when you're making a film. Now, when you go out and you want to get prime lenses for your films, you want to make sure you have a 50 millimeter, which, again, as I said earlier, simulates what the human eye sees. Another very, very popular lens for you to have is a 28 millimeter, which will allow you to have wide angle shots and allow your film to look more epic. So if you're working with a fixed prime lens, to pull out or pull in or pull out, you'll need to move your tripod and set up the fixed angle, but you will ultimately get sharper image. So again, prime lenses, which you hear filmmakers talk about all the time, are fixed angle lenses, and zoom lenses are lenses that allow you to zoom in and out. Prime lenses are better for filmmaking. They're better glass, and they allow more light in for your images to have a crisper picture.
All right. Now, we're going to have David coming on in a moment, but we do have
Mr. Romero.
I had to remember to unmute my mic.
Yes, I know. It's you know what? I actually not remember to unmute my mic. I checked the wrong box for what microphone it was. I had it, even though I had my microphone plugged in, it thought it was the one that was attached to the camera.
How are you, David? You look good. I missed you.
I'm fine. I'm just getting old and feeble. But otherwise fine. Beautiful, by the way, tonight.
Your first week at 50 is good.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Actually, I have to get better than dollar store earplugs because you guys are cutting out on me.
Oh, I said your first week of 50 was good.
Yes, my first week of 50 was good. Everything was very similar to 49. It was just a lot slower, and I can't wait to see what it is like to refresh the misses at the great age of 50. I want to see if it's any different. But
I'm happy you were talking about the lenses, man. You know, I'm a prime lens snob, an absolute snob. I have a zoom, and like I try my damnedest to never put it on the camera. You know, there's just such a difference in how they shoot. There's such a difference in the final quality. You know, and it's interesting because you know, zoom lenses are phenomenal. They're great for still photography, and they're good for filmmakers who are just trying to get something made, but don't have the, you know, don't have a lot of experience, or just getting started out, or don't have a lot of money to go out and buy a bunch of primes. But you know, there's a lot of great resources where you can rent prime lenses, including I think one is called cheaplenses.com. So, and you can rent them for like a week for next to nothing. So there, you know, if you for filmmakers out there, if you haven't messed with primes yet, it's really they're accessible. You don't need the big giant, you know, Zeiss Cine primes. I have a set of Zeiss primes that I use that are made for still photography, but it's the same glass that's in the Cine primes. You just have to dial them in a little differently. But you know, I was really happy you were talking about that. That was really cool.
Yeah, no. Oddly enough, it's I get a lot of IMs and questions about filmmaking, and believe it or not, I would say probably 75% of the questions I get is either about frame rate or about what kind of glass between people. Not and it does get confusing, the difference between prime and zoom lenses.
Yeah.
But there are also I think a brand called Rikon or RI. Yeah. That is a very, very good glass that's inexpensive. So people could look into them.
There was a time when Rokinon was a little sketchy, but they've really dialed it in lately too in the past decade. And their glass is phenomenal. And you know, and the other nice thing about the primes is it challenges you as a filmmaker. So if you want to zoom with a prime lens, you have to move the camera like they did 50 years ago, or 100, you know, or 70 years ago. You have to physically move the camera. And that actually helps you as a filmmaker refine kind of the body movement that goes with that audiences since film started have been trained to recognize. You know, like if you think back about movies like Ice Station Zebra, or you think about movies, you know, old Altman films, right? Like whenever they would do the handheld stuff on the old Altman films, there was the giant Panavision camera that took 8 people to muscle around. But if Altman wanted a handheld shot, it would have to be 8 people moving in unison to move that camera steadily and smoothly. And that's something so many filmmakers today, we use these things, and the sensor's right here, and your hands are right on the sensor. So that sensor is going to pick up every little movement that you make, even your breathing and everything. And that's when you're going to start getting the rolling shutter, and that's when you're going to start getting a lot of issues later in post. So, you know, I think that that's a phenomenal topic. I think maybe you and I should do a whole episode together on different lenses and stuff like that.
Lenses, cameras, everything that could actually help a filmmaker get what they need their film to look like.
And Terry with the drone cav talks about that a lot. Maybe the three of us should do like do a special about lenses and cameras and different frame rates and, you know, all that. I think that would be a really cool episode for us to do on the Brigade.
That would be awesome.
All right, cool. Yeah,
it's great seeing you, George.
You too. I have one question for you though. Why
did
nobody take you to see the bridges of Madison County?
I have no idea. And now that I've been told about the bridges of Madison County, it's exactly what I'm going to do. Instead of watching the Waltons tonight, I'm going to watch the bridges of Madison County. You would think with my name in it and all, I would have seen it by now.
I was thinking about the covered bridge, the covered bridges. Why not go see the covered bridges of Madison County?
Well, someday, George, when you get to be my age, you'll understand, these weird passions for like Vaseline glass and covered bridges.
I don't know. I was thinking Beetlejuice.
I was just thinking that there's probably covered bridges in Madison County, and an extended sponge bath scene in the movie. So, listen, I hope you have a great show tonight.
Thank you, brother.
I'm very, very happy about the guests you have. I think you're going to have a good time. I got to meet him briefly in the green room, and I think you guys are going to have a great chat. So I'm looking forward to it.
He's a great guy.
Cool. Well, have fun.
See you.
See you.
Thank you, George. I'll see you in a little bit. Joe, I'm going to apologize now to everybody ahead of time. For some reason, I'm having real trouble hearing everybody tonight. So
that's not good.
Yeah, maybe I should put the closed captioning on. My first guest is a wonderful voice actor. He is the beloved voice behind one of the most iconic video game characters of all time, Claptrap, and is just a wonderful guy and a dear friend of mine. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Eddings.
Hey. How you doing? Is it safe to come out and talk or whatever? Or,
ladies and gentlemen, this is not David Eddings.
Thing was put on my window today. I'm not exactly sure what's happening here. It's just nuts. But anyway, you know what? I feel safe with you guys. I'm just gonna get a breath of fresh air here. I'm thinking of changing my name to David 19, by the way.
That would be awesome. By the way, Dave, I only have COVID-17, so it's not as dangerous. We'll be fine.
Whoa, dude. Everything I do is over COVID-18, or I don't do it at all. All right.
How are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. It's been an interesting time for us in the Eddings clan. We have a thing on Fridays. I got two teenage boys, and so we call it Forced Family Fun Friday. And we basically we make each other have fun whether you like it or not. And so for me to get through that, I have to sometimes drink some alcohol just to get rid of some of the pain. Most of it emotional, but a lot of it physical too. So, but anyway, I don't know if this is the kind of show that we drink on air or not or whatever. But there we go.
Then him back if you got him.
Good to see you, David. And Joe, it's a pleasure to meet you. And cheers if we're drinking, and to those that aren't with us anymore. And here.
Well, if you remember the last time the two of us were drinking together, we were with Nicholas Brendan. So there was plenty of libations, as you might recall.
We were, as a matter of fact, with him.
I promise.
Oh, that was an interesting night. We had a nice time with our friend.
We were with the cats from the Back to the Future.
That's right. That's right.
We went out to that Mexican place.
Yep. Donald.
Yes. Mayor Goldie Wilson.
That's right. Don Philolove.
Yes, he was
he was awesome. And Kinnick, Sky, his girlfriend, if I recall, his girlfriend at the time.
Yep.
How you doing? How you guys?
Well, we're great. I mean, we started. Joe is the producer of the whole network, the guy behind the brilliance behind all of this, along with George Romero, who's just a living legend and an icon.
Right. I met him briefly earlier.
Yeah, and we're doing this show every Friday night together, and we have had a virtual who's who between George and I show of celebrity guests. And I said, I got to get David on because he's such an interesting guy and just a wonderful guy. And I actually miss you, Dave.
Oh, well, thank you very much. It's good to see you. I miss you as well. I'm sorry to disappoint all the people that are watching, though. They apparently George Clooney couldn't make it. And so they asked me to fill in at the last minute. So I'm so sorry, everybody. I know y'all were expecting something different.
Let's be honest. It wouldn't be the first time that you stepped in for George.
I have no idea how to even respond to that sort of thing. Usually, it was I have no idea. That's a weird thing to say, I think. But we get confused for each other every now and then, but usually only when we're trying to get each other to pay the bill. So, But it's good to be on the show. Thank you very much. I don't really know what I'm about to step into, so.
Oh no, I love you, Dave. So it's going to be all softball questions, my friend. All softball questions.
All right. Terrible.
My first question for you is: how did you first get involved in the video game industry in voicing characters?
Oh, lots of blowjobs, apparently. No, I'm kidding.
Knee pads are hard to come by.
What is this a 17 and up show, by the way, or is this for kids? Are we putting this? I mean, okay, all right. I just want to know if I need to censor myself or not. It's funny. I got into video games in a really weird way. I mean, I grew up playing video games with Pong and Atari and television, ColecoVision. By the time the NES came out, I bought it with my own money. I'm a little bit older than I look. I'm just a cool young brother who looks kind of old a little bit. But I was playing games and working and was really into it. And then I moved away to the Cayman Islands for fun. And while I was down there, this game called Doom came out. And on the island, nobody was inside playing on their PC. We're all out, just having a good time and going diving and doing some cool stuff. So, I came back, and at my welcome home party, there were these dudes that had moved into Mesquite, Texas, and they were dating some of my sister's friends. So they were at our welcome home party, and they created a game called Doom. And I was like, oh, that's awesome. I heard about that. And, I just moved back, but I hear this other game called Quake is going to be really good. And they're like, yeah, that's our game too. And I was like, oh, cool. And so Adrian Carmack, one of the founders of id, gave me a copy of Quake in the jewel case about a week before it came out at retail. And so the next day I went out and bought my first PC, a Pentium 133. I spent about $3,500 on it. This is 96. I got a dot matrix printer, whole thing, right? I think it had like 4 megs of RAM. So anyway, I was playing the shit out of that, and it just so happened that the guys that were making the Quake Mission Pack #1, Scourge of Armagon, literally lived right around the corner from me. And so I would get off work, and I would just go over there, and then we would just deathmatch, and we were just playing these levels that hadn't been published yet, and a game that hadn't been finished, and so I was just kind of like this guy that was just around, and they kind of made me an honorary board member, which was dumb. And they kept asking me to be a part of this thing. And, my skills just didn't mesh with what they really needed at the time. And I kept telling him as much. And I think that when you turn people down over and over again, they just want you that much more. Well, it just so happened that these guys were also getting together to form this company called Gathering of Developers, or God Games. This was done with Epic Games, with Terminal Reality, with 3D Realms, with Ritual Entertainment, we were basically Gathering Developers made or published games like Serious Sam, Max Payne, Tropico. You've heard of some of these, right? And that was sold to Take-Two, and it became 2K Games, or Take-Two. 2K. Sorry, it's sold to Take-Two. Anyway, so I got in just by accident. I mean, if I hadn't graduated from North Mesquite High School, if I hadn't had 3 younger sisters that were around the same age, it wouldn't have never happened. So I can't tell anybody how to do it. Just, hang around places. I don't know, just, but honestly, nobody would have ever asked me to be a part of their company if they didn't think that I could create value. And so I think that's one of the things that they saw. And I was helping out my friends early in those days. It wasn't a big phenomenon. It wasn't a big industry yet. And so helping them out with press releases or how to get their, just some PR stuff was just really simple things, but it was valuable to them, and so they appreciated it. But that's how I did it. So that's it, kids. That's all you have to do. You don't go to school for that. You just
Just have to have 3
Hang out
member
with people,
systems.
be cool.
Just to let you know, Dave, how old I am. Because the
Yeah.
very first video game I got, I asked Santa for a video game, and it came and it was like a triangle. And one side had a steering wheel with a stick shift.
Yeah.
The other side had 2 little nodules so that you could play Pong.
Magnavox, wasn't it?
I think it was either Magnavox or Mattel.
Was it a Mattel? Okay.
It might have been. And the third side was a pistol that you would put back into the holster that you'd shoot the little dot that went back and forth.
So advanced at the time, and they were able to do that, you know. And what's funny is every freaking light pistol has always sucked, no matter what. Whether it was back in like 1974 or whether it was in, you know, whether it's in 2012, it doesn't matter. It fucking sucks every single time, right?
Yeah.
So, David, was that one of those things that had like the screen overlays to put on a TV?
No, oddly enough, it didn't have screen overlay. It might have actually had a screen overlay because TVs were black and white.
Yeah, I was gonna say just using a black and white TV was fine. It just they followed a big white dot on the screen, and you would, you know.
Do you guys remember that little switch that you would have to turn from TV to game to actually be able to play the video game?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You had to be able to get to the back of your TV to do it. So the back of your TV had to be an area where you could reach easily, you know, and because that was something that you were. Isn't that funny? They never even thought to put like some sort of switch in the front after a while. You know?
So, Dave, tell us what it's like to be one of the most iconic video game voices of all time.
I really wouldn't know. You should talk to somebody else probably. Charles Martinet. How about him? That guy's iconic, right? You know. You know, it's really weird. I've been doing voices in games. Since really before I even got in the industry, I did a bunch of voices in a game called Sin by Ritual Entertainment, my friends, and I just did it for fun and for free. And then when I got in the industry, I was doing it for the games that I worked on or games that my friends worked on, always for free, you know, and then the same thing with you know all the stuff that I did at Gearbox and even other stuff that I've done, like, you know, in Bendy and the Ink Machine or Postal 4 or any of that kind of stuff. It's always just been done for free and for fun. And so because I'm not a professional, you know, I'm not out there trying to get gigs. I'm not auditioning or anything like that. And so I don't really have any expectations for any of that stuff whatsoever. And you know, Claptrap was something that was. I'm assuming you're talking about Claptrap, right? Mm-hmm. You're not talking about another character that I've done where you know. Oh, okay, there you go. I didn't know if maybe like the tech or the scientist in one of my games back in the 90s was the one you're talking about that would be iconic, but no. So Claptrap is the one. Got it. All right. I don't know if you can see. I have like a little bit of a Claptrap wall back here of Claptrap stuff. Lunchboxes, toys, 7 different Funko Pop vinyls, a Yahtzee game, all different sort of stuff. Anyway,
empty bottles also.
Oh yeah, well they've been engraved and signed. Nice. You know, with Claptrap in particular, it was an afterthought because we needed we needed to remind the player that they had missions to do. And it wasn't all this stuff just kind of happens by happenstance, right? So is it an honor to be able to do something that's meaningful to a lot of people and it makes them feel really cool and makes them smile, or it enrages them and makes them want to shoot, you know, the character, but it makes them want to, you know, continue to play the game and get over the next hill and find that you know that possibly even better weapon. That's cool, you know, it's cool shit, right? And mm-hmm. I'm a gamer, and you know, there are characters that I you know that have meant something to me, and when you get an opportunity to do something like that, and it happens, and it's organic, then that's really, really cool, and I don't take it for granted. I love having done that, and I love that people dig it. You know, that's really cool.
Now, this may not be a softball question, and if you're not comfortable answering it, please just say, "Go fuck yourself, Dave." Move on to the next question.
I wear two. The answer is I wear 2 condoms at all times. That way, whenever I want to have sex, I just take one off. And I feel like a wild man. I'm kidding. I think I stole that joke, by the way, too. So, did I jump ahead?
No, that was my final question. You just ruined the whole interview. This is actually something that
to ask.
A dear friend of both of ours, Casey Bassett, who you know is one of your biggest fans.
Yes, Casey.
Yeah. He asked. He wanted me to ask you, why did you wind up leaving Gearbox Software?
Well, man, I haven't thought about some of this stuff in a while. It's been nice too to not even think about that. Well, I'm just going to say that there were a number of people that had been at Gearbox for a very long time that also left right around the time that I left, all for the same reason. And mine was just something that was a little bit more public. It was an outburst of emotion from the person that was really kind of going off the deep end anyway. With all the web of deception that he was having to keep built, and he was just kind of, he was on tilt, and I was asked to break my word in simple terms, and in order for him to try to keep up a deception, and for whatever reason, I had given somebody my word so that I could have this information that I gave to my boss, and it was not appreciated. Let's just put it that way. And so, when people are on tilt and they're in this whirlwind of all sorts of shit, quite frankly, there's a collateral damage, and I would say that I was just collateral damage and stuff like that. And so there was an opportunity I was offered to do Claptrap for Borderlands 3, and I in essence I turned it down because I felt that there were some unresolved issues that needed to be resolved before I would do something for free again, because I wasn't, I don't need to be paid for it. But I did want to be, to have a reconciliation, or at least an accounting of stuff that was owed to me. I'm a part owner of a restaurant that we built together, and there were promises and bonuses that everybody at Gearbox gets that I would have been owed. The promise was a year after you leave, you get your bonuses and all this kind of stuff. So those are things that you earn, especially when you've been there for 10 plus years. But it's the reality is that I'm really, really, all things considered, it's great to be gone, because it was a little bit of a cancer, and I feel for people that there's a number of folks over there that have been there for 10 years, or they're hitting 10 years and they're leaving. And 10 years is basically like when you're supposed to get the gold watch, right? Mm-hmm. And you've made it, and you're in, and you're at full bonuses and stuff like that. And so for people to be leaving when they hit 10 years is really something, because they're realizing that the promises are just not what the promises are not there, or they're not being fulfilled. And it's unfortunate, because there was a time when we were, as one like to say, we're all in this together, but clearly we're not all in this together. And so that's unfortunate. And those things that happened after I was gone, the things that were revealed about the siphoning money that should have been gone to the company, then ultimately, to be in the pockets of, bonus to the employees there. And diverting that over, and and there's a lot of other chicanery and you know, I mean, the reality is that it's nice to be out of all of that crap, right?
No, and
well, I love everybody that's over there, and I hate that every time that something like this comes up, that the people that work there are made to feel like this is on them. It's not. Everybody over there that works really hard, they deserve to get their bonuses. They deserve to feel good about the work that they do, and quite frankly, they deserve to be recognized for it too. It's one person that likes to you know, pull some shenanigans and then likes to say that it's everybody else that is at fault. So you know, it's a lot of gaslighting. He likes to, you know, the dude's a magician, right? He's trained in the art of deception, and you know, that's just the way he is, right?
you know, dude, I didn't mean to piss on your parade. I apologize.
Not at all. It's funny. It's you know, certainly I miss seeing people. There's a lot of people there that I miss, you know, seeing on a daily basis. But a lot of those people, just a little short amount of time, they're gone, right? And it's unfortunate. A lot of people feel like they're stuck because they put that time in. But you know, there used to be 5 owners, and there's now 2. And you know, and there's reasons why. You know what? The good news is that, and this will be the last I say anything about it, is that I don't have to say much at all, because you can just watch what happens in public and see the kind of meltdown that the dude has all the time, right? And you can see that it's just it ain't normal. You know, that's just about it. It just ain't normal. So.
All I'm going to say is because
I wish them all the best, and I, you know, I hope that everybody there can find their happiness and their success, and I really do. I love everybody there, except for just one, you know, one asshole. That's about it. So, you know.
Well, I'll say that whatever you're talking about, I know you as a wonderfully stand-up guy, and it would be their loss not to have you around. So, who are you working with now?
It's funny because you know, there are many people that were close to him for much longer than I was, that also were, you know, I mean, it was all very public, right? There's plenty of that. Everybody, if anybody wants to know about it, they can read about it. But I would, yeah, it's unfortunate more than anything else. And we see things like this in the entertainment business, especially in video games, where a lot of people just got into games and they just weren't very mature. Our industry is not very mature, but also the people that were in the industry, we were kids, you know, and getting in and doing this stuff, and we weren't very mature either. A lot of us, especially there are people that, you know, spend a lot of time maybe by themselves or you know, for whatever reason, weren't able to find a social group, so they found solace in doing something solitary, right? You know, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it can't create problems later on when you're trying to get along with people. And as you grow a company and as you have more people, it's harder and it's more difficult if you don't have those good skills, you know, early on, right? And so yeah, it's unfortunate, but we see this all the time. It's cyclical, you know. It's in independent studios. You're seeing it even happens at the big studios too. You're seeing a lot of stuff happen in gaming these days. You know, you might actually be seeing the first union popping up here pretty soon.
I hear you.
Yeah, and you know, it's not surprising. People have been getting, you know, there's lots of great places to work for sure, and there's some that you probably don't want to work. You know what I mean?
So, Dave, is there any projects that you're currently working on?
I am actually working on a few different things, and I'm not gonna talk about what they are specifically right now, but it's really exciting, and I haven't been this excited in a long time. It actually makes the hair on my arm stand up a little bit. But I have a really cool project that we've just been funded that's in the world of video games, and we're also using machine learning and AI for some really cool purposes. And then I've got this other thing that's also has to do with machine learning and AI as well. And I'm just having fun, and I'm having a blast, and I'm doing a few things with some friends of mine. And this every day feels like a vacation lately. I know everybody's locked down, right? And But I just moved back to my home in the Dallas area. Been hanging out in the backyard where I have my pool, my outdoor kitchen, and just been enjoying that, and taking a few phone calls here and there, and it's been really cool. So it's not time to announce anything right now, so I'm not gonna do that. But stay on the lookout, because it's gonna be impactful. Put it this way.
Well, I got a question for David, if I may. What was that first thing you couldn't tell us about?
I've been a biz guy for a long time, and that's sly, but just not sly enough. So one thing I don't do is I don't give up details that I'm not allowed to give up. I'll talk all around it, but I'm never gonna break an NDA or something like that. So
what are your thoughts on like the next generation of video game consoles? What do you think? What do you see is like the next hip thing?
It's funny. First, I'm looking forward to the next PlayStation, and I'm looking forward to seeing what Microsoft does with the next Xbox as well. I'm a primarily PC gamer. But we all started on console games and arcade games, right? And I play a strategy game on my iPad. I don't really do much on the phone or anything like that. And sometimes there's just games that you're just not going to play on the PC that you want to play, as a group, or it's like Red Dead Redemption 2, or so I've got it all, and I've never, I've been fortunate too, where the companies send me the consoles, a day or two before it comes out at retail, and I haven't had to make purchase decisions, so I get excited about everything. But if I did have to make a purchase decision, other than PC gaming, the PlayStation really, really, really is exciting to me personally. But I wouldn't count Microsoft out ever. We'll have to see what happens. I know they have an announcement coming up soon, or at least they should be. So we'll see what happens there. I need to be very careful that I don't say too much about anything right now. I may or may not have information from any of these companies. So.
Well, Dave,
I'm excited for all of them. I tell you what, I will say this: the last game that I played that I thought was just so freaking fantastic, that I played from beginning to end, was Breath of the Wild on the Switch. And I know that that's a little bit old. It's been 3 years or something like that. But that still has been impactful in the way that I'm thinking about some of the entertainment that we create, and it's we see how that's impacted some of the new games that we're seeing as well. We're seeing like more of serious tone, but anyway, enough about that. I'm excited about all of them. But if I had to be excited, if I was on a deserted island with electricity and all the guys, and internet, but I couldn't call for help. I know this is a weird scenario, but PlayStation 5.
You know what's wonderful? Your enthusiasm for this stuff is infectious. It's what makes people love you. Dave, I want to thank you so much for being on my show tonight. Can you tell everybody out there where they can find you or find information on or future appearances, or if they want to contact you?
It's funny is I'm not really, I do appearances when I get invited by a convention and they figure out how to get a hold of me. But, mostly I just kind of stay under the radar. I don't have anything coming up other than the stuff that we're not going to announce just yet right now. But, you can find me on Twitter at David Eddings if you want to follow me. And every now and then I get on there, but not too much. Mostly I just go in there and like other people's posts or something like that. But I tell you what, I'll take this opportunity to do this. Do I have like a quick 60 seconds or something?
You have all the time in the world.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. So I just moved back to my house in the Dallas area, and I got in touch with an old friend of mine from like 24, 25 years ago. A guy that's been dabbling in music. He runs a pizza shop in Dallas called Frazzini's, but in his spare time, he likes to make music. You know, he lives in Mesquite, Texas, and out of his neighborhood, he produces this music. He's got his son and his daughter singing on it, and his neighbors singing and rapping on there too. I'm not kidding you, and I kid you not. It's probably like, it sounds like one of the hottest hits of the summer is one of the songs that he's got. And if I could plug it real quick, and anybody that's listening should check it out. If you have Spotify, if you have Apple Music or any of those, it's called All Right, ALRIGHT, All Right, by AR-16 Bars. And check it out. It's really, really catchy. And quite frankly, the dude's not even in the music industry. I'm just telling everybody because I think somebody should try to find out how to work with this guy. Maybe like license some of his music or something like that. It's really, really kick ass. So, and it's just a dude, like he's just not in the industry at all. Doesn't mean it's just, he just made it, right? Check it out. It's freaking awesome.
Hey, Dave, can you stay on for another minute or two? Because
Sure.
What's wonderful about my show is that I think my show and all these shows should always be about people learning from each other and networking. I have two other guests on. I don't know if you know these cats, but I'm going to bring them up and introduce you guys.
Right.
Mr. Ridgely, is Mr. O'Halloran available?
What's up?
Hey, Mr. Eddings. This is Brian O'Halloran from the Clerks franchise and the View Askew universe. And Brian, do you have any? I know you're kind of a gamer, and you probably would have conducted this interview way better than I did. But do you have any questions?
Well, I actually own all the Borderlands games and played them numerous times. And
Right on.
and the Claptrap is you can't play the game without Claptrap. You can't say Borderlands without Claptrap. He is the game, to be honest with you.
No matter how much people want to, you can't do it.
No.
Well, thank you very much. It's quite the honor. I got to tell you something, and this is really funny since we're talking. But I mentioned a guy named Adrian Carmack earlier, who was one of the founders of id Software. And Brian, you and he are like twins. And it's been the joke ever since that you did that movie. Everybody's always thought that Adrian Carmack. It's funny. And so he even used your picture for his Facebook photo for a while.
Well, that's one handsome mother effer.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's even funny because when you both cut your hair and it looks even more uncanny. It's freaky. If you look up just Adrian Carmack, not John Carmack, but Adrian Carmack, and pop it up on an image search or something like that, and yeah, you guys could commit crimes for each other and get away with it. Wink, wink. Right?
Oh, all right. I have my alibi. It wasn't me.
Yeah, y'all kind of sound alike too. It's nuts. Yeah, check it out. Just check it out sometimes. Weird.
I will.
But, with that. Yeah, well, it's a pleasure to meet you. If you're ever in the Dallas area, any of you guys, please come to my tiny castle, and we'll cook out and we'll eat, and we'll get a bunch of video game people around. And we'll have a lot of fun.
And there's one other gentleman. Is Uncle Scott around?
Scott, give me a thumbs up.
Hey, Dave, this is Scott Schiaffro from Clerks and Vulgar and another great guy.
I thought I was trying to get pushed out here a while ago. I didn't think I was going to meet everybody. This is awesome. How many more people do you want?
No, this is it. This is it, Dave. You don't have to worry about it.
How long does your show go, by the way? I'm just curious.
We usually go from 11 to between 12:15 and 12:30ish.
Okay, right on. Yeah. Awesome.
Well,
Well, this has been a lot of fun for me. So thank you guys very much. I hope it was entertaining for you guys and for your listeners. I'm sorry if I turned anybody off and made them throw up a little bit or something like that. When I was a baby, my face caught fire and they put it out with a shovel. So there's been a lot of reconstructive surgery since then. And anyway, it's not doing too bad, but it's anyway, it's mostly just working on getting it to fit again. So here we go.
Well, thank you for joining us, David. If you ever want to come on and promote a game or a big announcement, we'd love to have you. Be well, Dave.
Right on. Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
David Eddings, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey.
Mr. O'Halloran, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing good, but I mean, if he was worried about his looks, I mean, he could have just, altered them in some way, I'm sure.
Or looked at me and not have a complex.
Or that.
Your FX did not work, Mr. O'Halloran.
did
It worked for
not.
like It worked for like. There it is.
Ah, like that. Everybody loves Satan. Oh, no.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tim Curry.
I can even do scarier monsters. Ah!
I thought you were going to have a David mask, but okay.
It's all a
No,
hoax, everybody. It's all a hoax.
The only one who has a David mask is the lovely and talented Tiffany
Tiffany
Shepard. And she has a giant David mask. A giant David mask.
That's a lot of ugly.
Schiaffo, I heard that. Gee, thanks, pal. Mr. Schiaffo, I heard that you have something that you would like to talk about tonight. Would you like to let everybody in on it?
Well, just that I'm super excited about the audiobook CD package coming out, hopefully sometime before the end of this month. But now the artwork is all gone off for proofs. The audio's been proofed and is good to go. But Scott Meany, he did outstanding stuff. I'm just so excited. As you can see, he's got a little promo art going there. But we also did a video out of his art panels for the original booklet, and it's just so exciting. You guys saw on the live draw that he did. When you see the finished pieces, it's just, I'm gobsmacked. I mean, I love the guy regardless, but what he did with it was amazing. We're hoping to put out, we might even do some limited vinyl just so the booklet insert is bigger, just so you can appreciate his art, because it's really killer.
Absolutely. Get that hipster dollar.
With those hipster beards.
Yes.
And that hipster beer.
Hipster
beer and your top knots. And
there's bugs in here too. Like there's bugs in his place. So that's going to be
hey, Uncle Scott, are you going to do a TikTok video to promote it? Just, it's all the rage.
Oh, zing. I thought 45 is nuking TikTok.
No, I thought, to be honest with you, I thought Microsoft is going to buy it.
Is that what's happening? I don't know. I just saw some wacky stuff with something he was pulling with them and some other company. I don't know.
Motion pictures, Mrs. McDermott.
Zing. Yeah, we might do some kind of multimedia thing, some kind of multimedia DVD. But the Audible took a while, but that's all set to go, and now the disc is ready and the booklet is ready, and I'm happy. Is that going to be a freaking amazing? Thank you, Sean. Thank you very much.
It's funny, Joe. Brian and Scott and I did what we thought was an audio show last night, and it was a gentleman from the Midwest.
Oh, it was a video show.
And he pulled a fast one on us and turned it into a video show. So I'm there like looking off into space, talking right into the microphone because I thought it was audio.
The host used Zoom to host the interview, and and I had even asked David ahead of time, like, what is this? Is this an audio podcast? Are we doing a streamcast? What is it? And he goes, just audio. And I'm like, okay. So I joined onto Zoom, and I'm just going to turn on my camera no matter what, and so did David. But the host didn't have his camera on, and Scott was thinking it was just audio only, so he wasn't prepared, lighting the torches he has in front of his monitor to get his face lit up. He wasn't prepared.
I didn't paint my face on either.
Yeah, exactly.
This is all shoe polish.
Exactly.
So I apologize to you guys for that, but actually his show was a lot of fun. It was a very, very
and for those that you don't know, I'm going to pull George up because he's not there. But this is what the host looked like, basically.
Yeah, he didn't even have an icon.
He didn't even have the icon. He was just a voice in the void.
But
didn't he have like?
When he did it.
Didn't he have a picture of himself, but with like giant teeth?
Picture. Yeah. When he did the thing, he put a.
That never. Oh, you know what? I think I have the settings on my Zoom where if someone is not live, I don't see anything or something.
Oh, okay. Well, I would suggest everybody check out the show because he's actually a very good interviewer, and it was a funny show. But it's even funnier watching it, knowing that we all thought we were just doing audio. It just makes it even funnier. What do you think, Joe?
Turn the camera off.
It's funny because Yeah, I had all the graphics and things set up, ready to show the poster and show different photos of us together. And so I would, even though it was just audio only, I was still showing it to us. And the cat was getting a kick out of like, oh, really? Brian's really got his graphics game on point. I'm like, well, I thought this was that type of interview, to be honest with you. So,
you know what? Now
that worked out great because it is being used.
Yeah, now in retrospect, it was brilliant. Yeah, it's the radio show that has talking pictures included.
Never a dull moment with these guys.
There I am showing my age again, Brian. Talking pictures.
Oh, it's the fluoroscope. Don't forget to watch the thing on the fluoroscope.
So what Bing Crosby movie should I watch tonight, fellas?
Angels with Dirty Faces.
That's Jimmy Cagney.
I know, because it's better off. You'd be better off watching that.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you, Brian, did you honestly see The Bells of St. Mary and Going My Way? Those are the two movies that he won Oscars for.
Yes, I did.
What'd you think of them?
They were wonderful for their time.
Okay.
They're classics. They're great.
Okay.
Bing had a voice of an angel.
And a right hook like the devil.
Exactly, and a fist like a boxer.
Yeah.
What, too soon?
Yeah. It's only been...
Really? All Bing Crosby fans here on the Indie Brigade going to be up in arms? Seriously?
So
I guarantee at least 6 viewers right now are Googling Bing Crosby.
Bing who? What?
No,
is he related to David?
For those of you who do not know Bing Crosby, he is the artist who single-handedly has outsold the Beatles, Frank Sinatra, and the Rolling Stones combined.
And he sold more books than the Bible. Who cares?
I'm sure his kids, I'm sure the people who cash his checks care. Scott, I was thinking of just putting up a still of Edward X. Young to see you laugh like a mental patient again. That was my favorite. That was the highlight of my life. That was awesome.
Hey, on Plex we have The Country Girl, Road to Rio, and Robin and the Seven Hoods. All of those have Bing, right?
Yes. Oh, I wanted to thank you because you gave me a great movie. I don't know if anybody out there has watched this. I don't know if you, Brian or Joe, has seen this, but have any of you guys seen the movie The Hunt?
The newest version?
Yeah, it came out, I think, probably within the last 90 days.
Yeah, because it was pushed back. It was going to get released, and then there was this mass shooting, and then they were like, oh, we shouldn't release it with all this mass shooting going on, so they delayed it. It's got Ethan Suplee and a few others, right?
And Hilary Swank.
Swank, yeah. No, I haven't seen it yet, but it's on my list to see.
You guys should, you especially, Brian, you should definitely see it. You'll love it because there's some political overtones that I'm sure you'll dig. But Scott, you haven't seen it yet?
I haven't watched it yet, no.
Have you seen it, Joe?
I have it queued. I started watching it, and it was just to that point that it's too late to get into it. And so, no, I have not seen it yet.
I would suggest everybody watching tonight to go out and check out The Hunt. It was a very, very cool film. So, Mr. O'Halloran, sadly, I was not able to watch your show earlier today. How did it go?
Oh, it was great. We had filmmaker Tony Avalone on. He's known for his award-winning and nominated documentaries, the Bill Murray stories. His latest is Waldo on Weed, which is a documentary about CBD oil and the treatments. A documentary about the folks who dress up like Ghostbusters called Ghost Heads. And his very first documentary, which was called I Am Santa Claus, about the guys who play Santa Claus, hosted by Mick Foley, the wrestler, as well. I worked with Tommy on a film called Miss December many years ago, and so we go through all the films and stuff, and a very funny story at the end of the show about how we first met at a Kevin Smith film festival called Vulgarthon, and the item he had me sign, he personally autographed, and it's a very interesting item. When you see it.
Sweet.
I've heard you tell that story a bunch of times, and it is hilarious. And I had no idea that was Tommy.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
We actually have a photographic evidence that's shown in the podcast. So so he was my guest this week on the O'Halloran, which you can find on YouTube and Facebook. And next week we have another great television icon, Mr. Billy Van Zandt, brother to Stevie Van Zandt from the E Street Band. And we're going to talk about his book, Get in the Car, Jane, about his days with him and his wife, comedy writing for amazing sitcoms in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. And he's got stories of tons of Hollywood icons. He would love the Bing Crosby movies.
Well, there you go. A man of taste.
Mm.
See, I have Bing's collected audio work and most of his movies. Mr. Russell, you are not only a man of charm, but a man of taste. There's a few of us left. Unlike Mr. O'Hara.
It's so funny that he says that with a Punisher icon as his avatar. It's hilarious. I love everything. That's all. Death from above, and all the other kind of killing. Awesome.
Well, with that being said, I want to thank both of you for stopping on. Is there anything you guys would like to talk about before I sign off?
Give me your souls. Give me your souls. What? No, I'm good. Did you say something?
I actually want to get one of those. Can you be like other characters other than the devil?
Sure. I could be Hellboy.
Oh, nice. I like it.
Mm-hmm. I could be Hellboy as Hannibal Lecter.
Nowhere else are you going to get
Clarice. Nice. Yeah,
I know you do a good Trump. You should be do a Trump with the Trump face. I know you do a good Trump.
I'm not. That's fake news. I've never done a Trump. See, that's you again. What you got you? What a horrible question, Scott. What a horrible question. You're a nasty person. You're a nasty person. You're on a nasty show. You're from a nasty station. No, but
and it's fake. It's fake news, Scott.
Don't fake.
Fake news.
It's fake. It's fake. Like all of your beard colorings.
Yeah, this is fake tonight. Thank you.
Hey, listen, I'm just not the president. I'm a member as well.
You know, poor Cy passed away.
Oh yeah. The hair club for men guy.
From Resident.
Too many injections in his head.
Right.
I think it leaked in and
remember Mr. Cunningham used to do the advertisement for Bosley. Bosley.
No, Mr. Cunningham was he was Tom Bosley, wasn't he?
The actor's name Tom Bosley. Didn't he do?
No, it was Tom Bosley, the guy from the
like that?
He was
Tom Bosley, Charlie's Angels, right?
Sorry,
or was that David Bosley? Or was it just Bosley?
Wow.
Wait. Charlie's Angels, the character's name was Bosley. And he was, I think he was David Doyle, if I'm mistaken. And Tom Bosley was Mr. Cunningham.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And here's what I ask all of you, because this is something that's perplexed me for generations. I was a big Happy Days fan, and I want to ask you guys. Richie had an older brother in the first episode that was in the first episode throughout the whole first episode.
The basketball player.
He goes upstairs to do his homework, and we never see him again.
Never to be seen again.
What the hell happened to Richie Cunningham's brother?
Maybe he met Anne Frank. He had to hide.
Like in Milwaukee?
Am I confusing that with Helen Keller? Some of you will get that joke. Some of you.
Anybody
Jack, when someone doesn't play forever, never comes back. I think that.
Did Jack just call us old? I'm sorry, what?
He called us, you guys are officially old. Wow.
I'm the youngest one on the fucking screen. Piss off, Jack.
You know, I used to like Jack Hunter. I used to, really want to promote his work and wish him well, but now he's nothing but a whippersnapper.
So apparently his room was a portal to hell.
No, there you go. That answers it. Thank you, David. Maybe he was just abducted by Pinky Tuscadero.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was never in the Cunningham house.
And then he came back as the Fonz.
Oh. Do you guys remember what Fonzie's first jacket was like?
It was cloth, gray or white.
He had a blue canvas jacket at first. It was very
Canvas.
weird.
Like,
Yeah,
like,
it's in the Smithsonian. Yeah.
Like blue or gray. Because leather was too offensive as a tough guy or something, if I recall.
Do you guys know what kind of motorcycle he drove?
Wow, we're really going down a rabbit hole, aren't we?
Right.
He drove a Triumph.
Do you know why Chachi loved Joni?
Why?
Nobody does.
Because he was paid to.
There you go.
Well, before we go any further with our ridiculous banter, I want to thank David Eddings for joining us tonight. I want to thank Mr. Brian O'Halloran for joining us tonight. Brian can be seen on the O'Halloran and all his wonderful viral media. He's just a wonderfully funny guy. Mr. Schiaffo has the great book coming. Is it a book or is it more like a video thing, Scott? What you're doing with Meanie?
It's the Audible. It's Audible and the CD release of the book. This has been a printed book. It's been out quite a while, but now this is the Audible, and the CD package comes with a really nice illustrated booklet from Scott Meany, which he illustrates one of the poems. He did an amazing job.
And you gave me that book many, many years ago, right around the first time we met. And if anybody out there has not read Scott's book, it is, and no kidding aside, is brilliantly written, and it's a crazy journey through some odd times I'm sure that Scott was going through at that point. But it's definitely one of those books that once you start, you will never put it down. So with that being said, Mr. Schiaffo, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to see you on Friday. Mr. O'Halloran, as always, my friend, thank you for stopping in. Much love, and I'll talk to you soon. And Mr. Ridgely, another episode of The End of the Night in the books. Everybody survived.
How does it make you feel?
How does it make me feel that another one's in the book?
Is the first show after your 50th birthday is what I was.
Yes. And clearly, once I turned 50, I just started to suck at this.
Well, your hearing was going earlier, so I wasn't sure.
I'm not sure it's my hearing. It's these earbuds or this stupid extender. Okay, my earbuds go into an extender, and
we're still talking about earbuds, right?
Yeah. But the extender goes my CPU is all the way up like 4 feet away from me.
Okay.
So my earbuds wouldn't reach up there, so I had to get an extender. You know, being 6'7" and all, you would think I wouldn't need an extender, but sadly I do.
Joe don't make him nervous.
And sometimes, especially after you're 50, your extender gets a little limp.
I won't know for several years. I'm sorry.
Well, you know what? This is Mr. Romero actually comes through like Rusty Staub in the clutch right here. Like the main man, he gives me a softball pitch so that I don't look like a spaz. I love you for that, Mr. Romero. And if you give me my clue, first say goodnight, Mr. Ridgely.
Good night, Mr. Ridgely.
Yeah. And again, thank you, Joe, for everything you do. Thank you for being a great co-host. Thank you for being a great producer. Thank you, George Romero, for letting me play in your sandbox. You built something awesome here, and I'm honored to even just be a little tiny part of it. So let me scroll over here to what Mr. Romero said, because I can't screw it up if he put it right on the screen for me. Remember, and this is honestly very, very important information for everybody out there. Remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Good night, everybody. Oh, that was just cold. You know what? It's 3:11:30.